Relatively flat to start here this morning as we get going on a Thanksgiving Eve trading session here. It is going to be a little bit quieter than expected and usual heading into this holiday tomorrow. Remember, no market tomorrow. We're back on Friday then with the show for a abbreviated half-day session. Here's what the Nasdaq looks like right now. We're back to the upside ever so slightly. We did start the morning relatively flat. Worth noting, coming up at 8:30 this morning, durable goods orders month over month for September. We'll also get initial jobless claims at 8:30 and continuing claims as we do typically. Chicago PMI then 9:45. Also, it's Wednesday, so that means 10:30 we'll get a whole slew of economic data on the energy side of things coming through as well. Overall, pretty good week so far as AI is concerned. More AI-related headlines this morning, more tech-related headlines this morning, hence the little bit of relative strength here in the Nasdaq to start things off. So far today, we do have a few earnings names coming through so far this morning as well. We are expecting, I think, a couple more here that we'll keep an eye out. One of the things we can do now coming on at 8 o'clock. Good morning.
Yeah, that's always exciting. I know the main ones this morning that reported were John Deere, which got hit pretty hard mostly on their guidance. And then Li Auto, also that already came out as well. That, again, getting hit. I know Yihang as well reported before the bell. Lots of post-market earnings as well here, too, that we had last night, including, but not limited to, Autodesk, PagerDuty, Zscaler, Dell, HPQ. So there's tons of names across the sphere with earnings to watch out for. And of course, these big tech names are still going to be in play. We have more catalysts with regards to Tesla now coming out of India with the India pricing for one of their models. And we also have, of course, Nvidia continuing to do Nvidia things. It should be a pretty exciting session here ahead of, as you said, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Google, the big one as well, back to the downside right now, but trying to make it an extended rally into this holiday. Here's Google right now back to 326, but coming off that sell-off yesterday, a little bit of a gap higher, more related news on that front this morning as far as Nvidia is concerned. We'll touch on China ADRs a little bit more today as well. All kinds of strength in that group yesterday, but individual names where to be so far this morning, guys, on a Thanksgiving Eve quiet session so far. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Turkey Day Eve. Pumpkin pie, all of that good stuff. WeBull reported they're up. You can already see them at the top of the visualizer right there.
I don't think it was a report. What was it for WeBull? Because they reported a couple weeks ago, didn't they?
It wasn't it?
Yeah, no, there must have been a story.
Oh, that's right. It was a story.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Urban Outfitters. What I want to say the earnings name. I feel like after we got shocked. Well, I was shocked by Abercrombie. I mean, I don't know. Like Kohl's and Abercrombie both did over 35%.
Yeah.
In terms of upside. And they had decent short floats. So I kind of feel like Urban Outfitters deserves a little bit of attention today. Only up 15% after they report. But like the story was all day yesterday, you know, two names that took the cake or whatever, the cheese, held the baton, all that. It was A&F going absolutely ham. And we already talked a little bit about Kohl. So I feel as if like those need to be on the radar. I want to feel good about crypto, but when we mentioned Bitcoin, like yesterday, Bitcoin couldn't crack that 88. So if we're not under 80, if we're not above 88, right now we're sitting at 86.6. There's still that big level of resistance that we got to watch out for in Bitcoin. So I like the retailers. Specifically, we'll see what Urban can do after we get some actual volume, because it's pretty light in the pre-market. Like the stock is barely even traded. That said, if I see it trending the way the others do, I almost feel like you want to be a joiner over there. So they're going to be in play. Dell actually eked out nice little bounce. Unfortunately for Zscaler, they lost money. So that's one's to the downside. Every single cybersecurity name has gone down initially on earnings.
Palo Alto made that buy. They bought some sort of a company there.
They had a better excuse. But I mean, Zscaler didn't even make money.
That strikes me heading to the downside. I really like that sector. I like the retail sector too. I mean, we talked about that when Neil's talking about it, and yesterday it was all about everything. And even yesterday we had the biggest retailer of them all. Apple made a huge move into all-time highs yesterday again. And as we mentioned, not too much volume happening right now, but this is a name that's, you know, cruising near the highs and looks to break out again today. So I'm going to be watching Apple around that 280 area. Should be a good one. It's nice to see Meta back as well there, 635, holding some of those bids from yesterday, you know, so that's good. Could have came in and seen a much, you know, worse day today than we do experience, which is nice. And then WeBull here, not even sure what the story is. We're gonna find out in a couple minutes. But WeBull up to 950, bouncing off that $8, which we've indicated was and looks like all-time lows. And then, you know, Nvidia still, trying to figure itself out right here again. But now it's actually starting to go. When we came in, was a little red than where we were now. But now you're starting to go back upside here, 0.2%. Right there. So you got any plans for tomorrow then, or what's going on over there?
Football, baby.
Oh, football. Okay.
Well,
what time is the pack?
Our fantasy league is kind of like it's going into the playoffs, but it's actually pretty boring in our league because we already know everybody that's in.
Yeah.
There's no like jockeying for position, so everybody knows pretty much where they're seating, and our trade deadline's been pretty boring. But I'll also be watching some football.
There's a trade deadline in our pool?
We have a trade deadline next week. The problem is we got this dude in our league who has,
1 o'clock.
you know who I'm talking about, first of all. Like,
he's
been out of it for a while, and it's a dynasty league. Usually you would sell, right? You test some veteran players and you try to get something for them. But it's ridiculous. Like, he's rejecting every single reasonable trade there is, and he'll probably do absolutely nothing. And then he talks about the championship he won years and years ago, which has an asterisk behind it, which I wouldn't even get into. But I'll be watching football tomorrow. There's no question. I'll do a little bit of a workout. The Detroit game, I think, should be a good one.
It's 1 o'clock. It's Detroit. Green Bay.
Detroit Green Bay. I feel like that's the premier game.
Well, there's
that's the best game.
Cincy versus Baltimore. That should be a good game. That's for first place.
Big rivalry.
Yeah. Those are both first place games.
Oh, with Burrow back?
Yep. And then the other thing is Dallas versus somebody, and that should be a good game too.
Dallas.
Forget who it is, but someone else would know. Yeah, we're gonna go knock down some trees and pick our Christmas tree out. Yeah, so we actually go there and I do the whole National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, start cutting down some trees.
Get it, Clark.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm going to be. That's what we were talking about yesterday, Clarky and all that. But yeah, there it is. So yeah, it should be fun. Hope you guys are going to enjoy it tomorrow. We are, Cowboys Chiefs. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, another big game. So it's going to be
a game that you know I'm in love with both of those teams. So that's why.
Yeah, that's why you're excited for that one. That one's probably I think the night game might be the Ravens game.
I don't know who to cheer against.
I would cheer against the
I have to,
Chiefs if I were you.
Well, I have to. I actually have to cheer for Dallas. That's why I don't even like the game, because I have to go for Dallas, which it hurts my brain as a Bills fan, but you got to do what you can.
It's funny because at 8 o'clock you get all these dark pool prints just come in, and it's just like you get these crazy wicks, and it's just like normally I'm not sitting here staring at time and sales, but when we're on the air, it's like, so if you ever see this happening, you know, like on any stock at 8 o'clock, that's what it is. It's just these dark pools that come in and go bang, 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 and any overnight trade or any reporting that they're doing, it just hits at 8 o'clock, and I don't even know like even really why that happens, but it's just up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's skewing the charts here in the beginning. We do have Robinhood also, man, starting to get off the schneid. We called a 9 handle. We got pretty close, man. It came to 103 there, or maybe even lower than that, maybe even 101, 102. But that's nicely getting going here as well. Robinhood should be on our watch today. And I'm just seeing, anything that hits on my scanners now, like I said, because of the up and down, is just going to be like, see, we just got SMR at VWAP right now, but that's up 1% now as well. So yeah, it should be an interesting day here.
Oracle's breaking out.
Expecting light volume. I was even thinking about buying. I mean, I don't know how low. Oracle's up $10 from its bottoms.
Oh, more, almost 20.
Okay,
the low is like 186, but this is actually.
Might have had to go in there and buy everything on Monday.
We look at a 15 here. This wasn't on the list, but yeah, it's not really a rounded bottom, but it's certainly breaking out those lows from 202. This has a bit of a gap fill, so it looks like we're getting it's a decent day. The fact that Nvidia is flat and the market's slightly up, Google's been leading the way. Need some other names to start percolating to the upside. Oracle would be a good one if it can get going. Nasty pullback for Oracle. But maybe a retest of that 200 period moving average, because it's beneath said 200 period. Yeah, a good test of that would be pretty good. And the other thing is, someone was asking, you could take the dark pool candles out. Yeah, you can. Like, I could right click and then data edit them out. manually, but it's just not. So a lot of times it's not worth it. If it's really, really bad, I'll get rid of it. If it makes the chart completely unreadable, but you see them at 8 o'clock, you know what they are. So watch out. Oracle looks pretty good. A lot of people already mentioning WeBull. Every time I look in the chat, there's at least 2 or 3 $ bull. So I feel as if this is going to be one that everyone is a little bit excited about gapping up here. Can it get back to $10 today? That's the big level for bull. Outside chance. Outside chance.
Yeah, I like all that kind of stuff. I like WeBull stock today too. Alibaba today. Netflix near that $100 mark. There's a couple of good stocks. SoFi, JP Morgan broke through $300. It's not, you don't have to be obsessed with tech or AI plays. There's so much more out there. Oh, wasn't there John Deere? Didn't they came and missed or guided lower 4%? I think it was down last time I looked. Yeah, down now 5%. So there you go, John Deere. You know, hitting the skid a little bit there. Boom. Worried about some of the U.S. agriculture turnaround. Was a story there for John Deere. And, you know, Caterpillar, I think, is still cruising, if not at the highs, close enough to it after what a rebound this week has had. You know, to go in there and buy everything Thursday, Friday, Monday, you know, most of the stocks have rebounded like crazy right there. But there's John Deere. Might be an opportunity to get some names in the portfolio that are outside of tech, right? Like I was saying about Caterpillar, has just been on one anyways, but that's even pulled back just a little bit, but you know, back into 540, that looks like a good spot to get some Caterpillar involved. So yeah, there's definitely some names hitting right here. Amazon, and we just talked about some of the retail names. Amazon, I like SoFi. You know, the funny thing about Amazon's actually up quite nicely too as well. This KLAR, like Klarna, just is like some of these names, Klarna, Affirm. Like if retail is strong, then what's going on here? You know, like that's the one thing, like, are people just not using the buy now, pay later stuff? Because this name was really hyped up and it was thought about not as like an alternative to retail purchases, because we already have PayPal does it, Affirm is out there, there's a few other spots as well. But Klarna like was a big name in this space. And I thought people were excited for this to come to market. And downside for Klarna, so that's another.
Did lockup even expire and it's down that far?
I don't. Yeah, it's not even close to the lockup. You're talking like maybe 60 days there, and then here's Affirm too. I mean,
Affirm's a little better.
Yeah, is it?
It's a little better.
Yeah, I mean, Klarna came probably in the summertime, so they're both down. But Affirm maybe more of an established business. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about them. But so, anyways,
PayPal got a deal with Perplexity.
Oh yeah.
So
they did.
Yeah. So the idea being, I think you don't leave. You don't leave your AI app to make purchases, right? So like an app, payments going through.
People
PayPal,
have to use Perplexity first for that to be anything.
Well, that's sort of the issue. But I think all of them are going to go this way to a certain extent. Maybe not. It's not really enough to get PayPal going. This stock just can't. It just can't seem to get out of its own way. This seemed like maybe that story could get you through 62, but that's not even happening yet. But you know, it's always in the back burner. I feel as if this one's got beaten up so badly. Like if and when the turn does happen, kind of want to be there for it, but it's still looking weak, still trending back into the downside. It's not a huge story. As you can see, the volume actually non-existent here. And that's another thing to keep in mind. A lot of people, you know, obviously tomorrow's a holiday, the markets are closed, and Friday's going to be a half day. So yes, volumes will be lower. You have to keep that in the back of your mind that volumes will be a little bit lower, but that doesn't mean opportunities change. Oftentimes, that can lead to a little extra volatility, especially on like opening prints. Like, I'll give you a name. Like, look at Apple. Look, the pattern on Apple is kind of fun. Look at the 930 candles on Apple. Boom, 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 boom. Every single day for 5 in a row, it's had a big one, because all it has to do is like break something. Today, for a candle like that, if it starts happening, there's a little bit less in the way if there's less volume. Sometimes, especially, this will be true on Friday as well, but you've got to understand that a lot of that, like, you know, lighter volume, that's more of the afternoon type of play. So you're more patient, and when it strikes, it might move a little bit easier from liquidity point to liquidity point. So you do want to adjust a little bit, but it is pretty regular trading off of the open. And yeah, Apple is on the mind, because if it repeats that pattern again, it's almost like just take the initial break and then whatever else happens. Usually it's like a fade after 10 o'clock. So that's the approach I want to have here today. Lots to watch, lots to talk about, and WeBull still absolutely running away with it. I don't think anything. The thing is, WeBull, it's one of those like cult names. So if you want any other symbols to top that visualizer, make sure you hit that $sign, because it's going to be. Yeah, Bull's like the odds-on favorite. It's one of those like cult stocks.
All right, let's go back over to the desk and see what Brendo's all about.
Yeah, it was very strange this morning. I came in first, looked at Google Trends, and StubHub was by far the top trending stock on Google Trends, but I couldn't find anything on it. It wasn't even trading, so anyway. Kind of strange. Couple of things. Nvidia, there was just a note from Dan Ives talking all kinds of positively once again about Nvidia. Wedbush analyst Dan Ives saying today, the AI revolution starts and ends with Nvidia, period. And that is not changing for another few years, I guess, commenting on what has happened over the past couple of days with Alphabet joining the mix and Google's chips being talked about a little bit more. There's also something to be aware of for Tesla today. Back to the upside here this morning in a pretty big way, finally getting over this two-day hump here. 420 was an issue for 2 days in a row there with resistance. Elon now targeting 500 robo-taxis in Austin by the end of the year.
Yeah, it's a bit of an ambitious target, and we know too, with that pay package, he has a lot of things he has to work on, right? He can't just work on robo-taxi. They've got all of these different milestones that need to be met. So from what I've seen, the reaction to this is a little bit of concern here from investors. Like, if you're focusing so hard on robo-taxi, can you make sure that everything else can be executed? I mean, Elon, he's been able to execute these things. Is probably not too big of an issue. But I want to mention too with Nvidia, that post that Nvidia's newsroom account made on X yesterday where they said, oh, basically, you know, good job, Google. People are talking about your chips. We're still #1. So I don't think Nvidia is concerned either, which was really interesting to see the social media reaction to that post.
And the pricing aspect of it too coming into play there a little bit, the TPU a little bit on the lower side, which could actually benefit Google some. Obviously, from that standpoint, maybe a bigger market for them. But Tesla looking pretty good here, guys, for Elon and crew.
Yeah, above that 420 is going to be a good sign. Just on the autonomous driving, you have news with Uber, because Uber is actually partnering with WeRide in Dubai. So like they've had partnerships with WeRide, Lucid. Obviously Waymo as well. So, don't ignore them. I know Uber's maybe not the day trade stock, so you always want to pay attention to Tesla, but Uber doing some things as well and making the right partnerships. They could be an interesting. That's a name that I just keep expecting it to move and go and dip by it. It just doesn't do anything. I might have to pick it up here if I want more Uber. But 420, resistance yesterday, resistance on Monday as well, and you're gapped above, so pull back in the prior high on Tesla. I kind of feel like if you lose 420 today, or at least that area, it closed at 419.40, so really it's not red until it breaks through 419. So you would argue that would be more where you're wrong about any potential dip buy, but that's the area I'm looking for on Tesla. Like today is like we're talking about liquidity points. Let's let it travel to a liquidity point. If it isn't at one, then I don't want to get too wrapped up, because I think you get chopped around if you're trading away from key prices on a day like today, and that's going to be the 420 for Tesla. And just to talk about Uber here, they are up on this news, this WeRide partnership and autonomous in Dubai, and it does look like it has a chance to fill in this gap here. So Uber. It probably needs to break through this 85 in here. I don't know if I like this stock for a breakout given the volume, but certainly it's been basing out for the last 4 days. You get this autonomous story. The bad news, unfortunately, is it's under the 200 period moving average. So even if it breaks out, like you're running right into the 200 period a couple bucks in, but that's still enough room for you to rally on Uber. And it's this shelf that I've been complaining about, saying, well, if we're going to lose here through like 81.5, like this one, like I really like Uber in the 60s, that's for sure. I don't know if you get all the way down there, but it's through the 200 period now. So even if today has a chance at an 85 breakout on that news, I still feel like this one's headed for some value dip buying a little bit later on. Well, I guess it'll be early on next year. I want to say later on in the year.
Yeah, I like Uber.
December next week.
Yeah, I bought Uber recently there. So Tesla's actually on the sticky note here at 420. So hopefully, I'm going to post it up in a minute. Hopefully this, fills. So if we can come back into 420 to, in and around this area, then yeah, let's go. Like this is going to be a definite buy spot for me here today. As it's been sort of the top, as Brendan had mentioned earlier. something to talk about. Like this top, if we can come back in, Tesla's been a wild ride. It's almost been like the opposite of Apple. It's, you know, it's had moves down and then it bases and then it goes. So you could see like just pretty violent both ways. You know, here, this actually started right away immediately and fell back in. And there's the next move at 9:30. You know, there's one move at 9:30, then right back in again. And then, you know, yesterday dip was actually pretty good into 408, into the 200 period moving average. So we'll be able to wait and see like what happens at this 200 period moving average, either right here, 417, 419, as the market's not open for another, like we're talking 70 more minutes right now. So if this kind of just, you know, sort of ekes up a little bit, 425, 426, and kind of gets going. You also have to look at this 430 as a possible break. I mean, those have been huge as well. But a pullback into the 50, a pullback into the 200, something like that, you know, much better. So I'll wait to see if we can get a pullback for Tesla, but definitely has to be on the radar today, up 1.4%. And honestly, like, I don't know if people want to be short into the weekend, and I know Friday's a half day, but let's just see if Tesla can, with robo-taxi talk, and maybe some of the negativity is gone in this market. I mean, it was such a negative couple weeks that now you're starting to feel some stories come through that seem a little bit more positive here. We do know we've been working hard to get Brendan's mic all fixed up, so bear with us if that happens again, okay, guys? We're working on all of that. Someone that's mic is never a problem.
Oh, jinx.
Is Joe. Are you going options right here? Yeah, we're going to go with options right now. We're getting used to this new time, so like, I'm not sure if it's upgrades or downgrades, but it's going to be options action right now with Joe. So, Joe, what do you got on your mind today?
All right, we got a lot on the mind today here, Katina, man. We're going to start it off with some of the call activity from yesterday, and that's HYG. This is going to be corporate bonds, high-yield corporate bonds, guys. But one thing that I wanted to note, and what was hitting the scanners yesterday, was the open interest on HYG at that $81 strike price, expiring December 19th. So a lot of activity coming into the December expiration cycle, and we're sitting around 266,000 current open contracts with a volume around 70,900. So that's not too bad of a look, guys. That might be a potential ceiling just due to the fact of how much open interest there is, supply zone, and then also ANF, guys, as well too. Abercrombie and Finch, open interest relatively light, but this thing was on a move yesterday, so I thought the options activity was going to be important. And once again, we're going to fall into that December 19th expiration cycle. We've seen a lot of activity in Google and a couple of the other high tech names on that specific cycle, but that is going to be at the $95 strike price. And then Alibaba also reporting yesterday, guys, open interest at the $160 level, expiring this Friday, sitting around 24,000 contracts with the volume, so open and close contracts at 25,000, guys. And then as for one of the names that I think put in a pretty good session yesterday, and that's going to be Palantir at 165, once again expiring this Friday. So essentially you only have today and then a half day Friday. So if you're looking to write, that might be a potential, but just be cautious of potential gap up or gap down leading into the half day on Friday. But the open interest sitting around 40,600 with volume at 22,300. So those have been open and closed. But if we look at our at the money IV, relatively speaking with Palantir, that's not bad at all. So you're not going to be paying an extended premium in the implied volatility front with our delta sitting around 0.432. So you can see that what the options market is saying, that essentially there's a 40% chance that this contract will specifically expire in the money, but also you can look at it as a 60% chance roughly that it will not expire in the money. So for all the options writers, there's your percentage metric, and then the gamma, relatively cool, guys.
Yeah, some good looks there. I mean, ANF, if you don't think you can get to 95, you weren't paying attention to what happened yesterday. It's not often that you will see like this type of momentum, like already gapped up. The only red candle until we got till noon was the 9:30 candle, where it essentially just shook people at, like it was a false break of the high when gapped up, maybe even trapping some shorts in the mid to high 70s, and then just ripped faces off over and over again. What's crazy about this is like you see a couple of you see 3 parabolic candles like that off the open. You're thinking, well, maybe there's a pullback. You could have just bought it when it slowed down and it went another $6, $7 into the high. So this, if it starts trending, if it's just a party that you want to join, if it can get to that 95, as Joe mentioned, there's some big time resistance at $100 on this stock. But I would think it's due for at least some kind of a pullback. So if it does that same shakeout candle, that could be an opportunity to get it. And like almost everything else, what is this? 28,000 shares have traded in the pre-market. So this is definitely not one that I would want to get in too early. Like, as I said, that first, it was an initial press up, fail break, and then pull back. But look what happened. Look how clean of like a consolidation breakout it gave you. And then look how clean of an open range break it was at 10 o'clock. So this is definitely a name. You want to check back in. Check back in at 9:45. How's it setting up? Check back in at 10 o'clock. Is it setting up for that breakout? That's what I want to do for A&F. And if it gets to 95, that is a much smaller move than what it did yesterday. So it really only takes a couple of green candles on the 15, and this is at that 95.
What a crazy couple names there. You mentioned on the options look was also Palantir. So Palantir just like starting to get back to the upside again, which was nice. So yesterday we had basically a $6 or $7 move off that low. And it's kind of like taking out some of those pre-market levels, like let things bounce down. And then if the market takes off, then yeah, you're going to get a great opportunity to buy pre-market highs. So like let the stock settle down there. And if you're getting some call action on Palantir, I mean, there it goes, trying to break higher rate now. So if we don't make a move down and we can't use a pre-market high, then yeah, I think a 200 period moving average here back into yesterday's close, 164. That could be a trade for Palantir as it's, play the names that have the momentum right now. And you can see what's happening with the Nasdaq is going to the upside. So some of these strong names early will probably remain that way as money flows back in, right? I mean, government back on right now. Palantir obviously hit on valuation. We saw Michael Burry and whatnot take positions in here and in Nvidia. So both of those were completely right to the downside. So, at some point they're going to need to get bought back up. And this 155, I mean, a lot of names came into support, and held. So, maybe they were a little lower support than we would have liked. Like when you break through this 175, you get nervous, but it does bounce off 150 pretty smooth here. So, yeah, I think if you like this name, it's still supporting the 200 period moving average. We're trying not to have this 50 period turn downside. So we'll see if it can continue to hold that. But look, it's been a nice move for Palantir over the last 6-8 months. So any dip buy opportunities have been bought right back up. This one's going to take a little bit longer, but the bottom may have been in there at 155. So unless there's something tragic with this name over the next little while, I think we continue to move higher. And now we have a nice base down there in the mid 150s. So yeah, you gotta like what we see there out of Palantir. Thank you so much, Randy, for the reload or for the coffee. Yeah, I put my initial coffee in here, so this is like still very, very full. But then we'll close it. Later, then. Yeah, we'll close it and then hit up this one. So cheers, everybody, as it's coffee Friday. Time. It's just Wednesday, of course.
It has a Friday feel to it. All morning I've been in this Friday vibe, but then Wednesday is also, for most people it's it's hump day. It's that's that. It's the busiest day for commuting because everyone's in the office. I think more people are in the office in the middle of the week than the beginning and the end. I don't know how it is everywhere else, but here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's more people coming into the city than there would be on a Monday and a Friday.
But there's things happening. Tonight I got hockey. We got hockey up in your hood there in Brampton. So we'll be there with the hockey game. I got to leave. I got to get there for 5:30. So that's gonna be immediately leaving off of this, and then. And then tomorrow with plans.
Leave right away.
The game is at 6:30, so you got to be there an hour early. All right, I just got a code I have to use to log in over here. All right, well, so a little bit of talk there on options. It's 8:30 already. So welcome to our show now is at 8 o'clock.
And we got some data.
So join us every day at 8 o'clock, and that allows us to look at these data numbers that are coming through here. Durable goods, right?
Durable goods. And initial claims we should be getting in just under 1 minute, everybody. So let's head on to the desk.
Yeah, here's a quick look at what we are expecting with these. So September durable goods numbers, last time around, we got 2.9% to the upside. The consensus on this, 0.3% for the month-over-month number. Initial jobless claims, remember last time, 220. That was actually a downtick, if I remember correctly, 225, the consensus. On this week, 1.974 million on the continuing claims for last week as well, or the prior week. Remember, this was including the government shutdown, so it's been a while since we had much of this come through. And then, as I said earlier, 945 Chicago PMI for November. That doesn't typically move the market. One of those numbers that can if it's way outside the range, but not one that typically does move the market here. But a couple more seconds, and we'll get these data points coming through. There we go. 216, so better than expected. 216 on the weekly. Initial jobless claims, again, 222. The prior 225 was expected there. 1.96 on the continuing claims. 1.95 was the prior number that we got on that. And durable goods orders, if you scroll up a little bit here, there we go, 0.5% versus 0.2 expected, guys. So right across the board, a little bit better there on.
Yeah, we'll take it. It doesn't seem to be moving us too far. And sometimes, yeah, we're actually not moving at all. We're above that 25,000, of course, holding above yesterday's highs. But it's a hold steady. Typically can just mean maybe get a little more reaction here. Can typically mean just go back to the well of where we were before, which was didn't see anything that would halt this kind of relief rally. I think if you had seen maybe some super signs of job strength, like a slight beat is good, but it had been a big one, maybe that would move the rate odds. And if that had happened, then you could have seen maybe a bit of a pullback. But I kind of feel like we're kind of on all systems normal after that print there. You really need to have some kind of a shock because the big one's going to be the day after the Fed. Coming up in 3 weeks, right? So I would venture to guess, and it's not going to matter now because I don't think this is that responsive when you look at the Fed Watch tool. I'll refresh it anyways, but it's probably, my guess will still be around that high 80s, or low 80s that we were looking at before. And while I wait for that, I can look at Kalshi, still at 83%. So this is more likely, this site is always so very slow. Kalshi, 2 seconds, right? 83%. So this should be loading any second now, but whatever. We're probably still at the low 80s, and they're probably updating this as we speak. So not much change here, Sean.
No, I mean, the jobless claims were lower than expected. So if anything, we would get a positive reaction to the jobs market, which is not great for this interest rate cut. Because, you like to see the economy apparently weaker, but it's a strong economy. The durable goods 0.5 versus 0.5 there. Actually, durable goods, 0.6 versus 0.5 prior. Core from 0.3 to 0.5. Just reading some of those numbers come through, but you're not seeing any reaction to the Nasdaq. We don't have the dollar up right now either, but the strong U.S. dollar. I mean, we can call it the dollar. I was going to actually, this is a Bitcoin chart. I use TradingView here. If you're going to use the DXY, let's just see if there's any movement over there right now. So this is the U.S. dollar, and of course we could just look to a 1 minute chart, and yeah, so a nice little move down up to, so we could see 100 on the DXY right here, and if you just go over to a daily chart, you'll see that it's starting to climb back up. So we talk about that strong U.S. dollar off of some of those lows. I mean, looking to get a settling down, obviously, between Russia and Ukraine. Better political landscape would be nice. You're still waiting for deals here from really from us here in Canada to do something, and that could affect the dollar there as well. But I mean, all of these new lows keep on getting higher here. So the dollar strength looks to be pretty good right now. Obviously well off where we were last year at the beginning of this year, but we keep on printing and devaluing, and the monetary system is always in question when you talk about the Fed. So yeah, the DXY right now getting going a little bit there back to the upside. So I'm not really seeing anything. The Nasdaq's starting to pull just a little bit, but
Google just lost it.
It's 8:30. You're not going to get. This is the back and forth. The real money is going to come in when the real money comes in, and that's going to be much closer to 9:30. So we still got an hour to go. These imbalances right here don't look like anything right now. Pfizer, nothing going on here right now. Pfizer's been actually pretty good. A nice dividend there. This sleeping giant, I don't know if it's ever going to get awake, but it's starting to break out a little bit on Pfizer, I was thinking, holding that $25 mark. So that could be a play there with a decent, strong dividend. So maybe a place to look outside of the usuals. But
have you seen what Merck has been able to do?
I was just going to say Eli Lilly, but I know Merck's been going upside.
Yeah.
Most of these stocks are starting to go here.
If Merck's doing this, Pfizer's been in the same pattern as Merck for quite some time. And Merck's broken out. This is what you're looking for from Pfizer. Everything about the Merck move looks pretty good. So, it's about patience. You can You can wait for it to guess at the low, or you can get involved when it's actually breaking trend. See, there's an example. See, I show when the golden cross works too, right? There it is. That's a golden cross, 50 over the 200, and then the stock breaks out. So every now and then that actually ends up working. It's got a 50-50 shot, right? So I guess sometimes it does. But that's a clean break that you're seeing on Merck. And I think that's what Pfizer, we loaded up, is kind of poised to do itself. Like, you got that. It's a longer bottom on Pfizer. I get it. Like, longer consolidation, maybe not as distinct of a sharp downtrend, but it's back above the 50 and the 200 pre-moving average. It's just how much it failed it the last time. Like, it did this before, went like 10% and then completely failed it, but it made a higher low. So this one does feel like Merck is catching a bit of a bid. And then on top of that, if we end up with some more tech weakness, well, then you're probably in the right space if there's going to be a rotation. So like I think Merck's probably too far gone at this point. But yeah, I kind of like Pfizer too. This is $26, oddly enough. I'm pretty sure that is the exact price that I bought during COVID in my PA. Well, I think I'm pretty sure it was 26 back in 2020. Like 90-something% sure that was the price I bought.
You could have bought probably nothing else. Everything else is probably up like 500%. I mean, that's the way I feel too when I look at some of those stocks back in 2020.
Well, the thing is,
try to make good plays.
COVID buys were COVID buys.
Well, that's
if you weren't getting out, I got out of all those things way before COVID highs. Because to me, it was just like this ultimate relief rally that I didn't peg the tops on anything. I was out of SI like 60, I think 50%, I think it was 50 or $60 from the high on SI. And on Pfizer, it was well before that. As well on Pinterest, I was out way before the top on Pinterest. I bought that because my wife was on the site all the time, like during COVID. So, you know, that's the thing about that type of rally. It wasn't built on a foundation like this bull run. Well, more of a foundation.
All right. All right, let's go back over here. It's 8:36. I mean, we're going to start to get our rundown going on. Here we have the watch list. You can scan that QR code, grab your free month of eSignal as well. If you're interested in doing that, go find me. Sticky note is now out as well. And here is,
there's a question.
I don't know if this is working. Oh, there's a question for me? Well, I don't have FSD, but yeah, I think it's, what is it now, 14.1 or something like that? Is that from Chef Joe? Mr. Rookie Man. Well, let me know what you think, Mr. Rookie Man. I have not even used the FSD yet. So I don't know, but one of my buddies is looking to buy a Tesla, and he said it's unreal. So I don't know. You guys let me know. I really like Tesla today, though, as a stock. But yeah, the car's downstairs charging. It's been one of my best purchases, I think. I really enjoy the ride, that is for sure. Got it wrapped and everything, so it's a good car. And winter tires, everything ready to go. All right, so this finally loaded up. 80. Let me know what you think, Rookie Man, about the FSD. Like, I'm only hearing great things about it. My kids want me to get it. So there it is right now, 84 now. So 85% chance of a cut moving into December, and then about a month and a half later, because we don't get the next one until January 28th. So it comes December 10th. So you're now 14 days away from Fed, like 14 days. And then, things start to change. So if we go over here into January, which for some reason January is, this website is having some problems. Like January is not loading. So we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, 84% chance now. So I think that's part of what this market is really rallying on over the last couple of days, right? We showed you last month it was completely the opposite. It was 20-something% chance of a rate cut, when we had that Fed speak early last week into the mid last week. And then that's all kind of changed itself around a bit. So. Yeah, so there it is right there. More talk about FSD in the chat, so thanks for that. And we'll keep looking over there. I'm trying to think about some parabolic SARs for some stops and stuff like that. So I'm gonna look at that. I still have Eli Lilly up on the screen right now. Like, this name is just
bye-bye.
What in the, like getting out of Google and putting into LLY a little bit there is making some sense when you see this. But there's been so many plays, man. Broadcom has been an absolute monster in that same period. Google was just a $140 name right back in April, and even April. I mean, you can even go, not even those lows. That is cherry picking the lows. But even if you go just just what we were talking about in here, just in July and August, you were at $180. You know, you're almost a double up. Like, this is a $1 trillion company. This is not multiple trillions now, but this is not like a Carvana or an Abercrombie or something like that, where it's just a couple billion. You know, this is trillions of dollars doubling. You know, it's absolute more than doubling. Crazy. Some of the headwinds that these guys have faced early, and now they've turned into tailwinds. So it's amazing. Hear what Gemini and what Positivity talks about here, Waymo and stuff like that, and YouTube continues to kick. So there's just so much good news here for Google, but not now, you wouldn't think, as it's coming back in. You know, don't let all the sort of the noise affect investing. You know, when you're trading, you want to buy good names with good stories, and I think Google's story is not just beginning, but it's definitely not going anywhere. And we actually got another piece of the pie yesterday with their TPUs and with, you know, much cheaper, with not similar performance. We had this story today. I think we might have touched on this earlier, but Nvidia coming out, there's still generational gaps between any chip that Google has and Nvidia has. So we still want to stay strong on both of these names. Yeah, some good talk here today. So, you know, thanks everybody. If you did want to get a question in, small super chat, we'll get it on the screen there. Then we'll be able to address it. So we do want to thank you for the FSD talk. And more to come today as we're just getting started, man. It's only 8:40.
Exactly. Plenty of time to go. And Midwest Rob made a good point as we were talking about some big cap names. Is it time for Microsoft to get out of the penalty box? You bounce clean off the 200 period moving average, and it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue, at least for the rest of the, maybe this week and for next week. That's a very clean hold of the 200. 3 days in a row, you're going to hold the 200 SMA like it did, and now you get a rounded breakout. It's very strong right now, this pre-market as well. Like, it's up 1% to the market that's 0.5%. So a bit of a gap fill potential here for Microsoft. Kind of forgotten about. It's always just that Mag 7 name that, I guess it's because they've been around the longest, right? Like, Microsoft has an unbelievable run of being, I think it's got to be at least 25 years, maybe even more than that it's been like a top 10 market cap company, which is unbelievable. Like, it's more than 25. It's got to be over 30 years now, to be honest with you. It probably is closer to 30 now I'm thinking about it, but unbelievable run for Microsoft. But I guess that makes it sometimes a little bit boring, unfortunately. But yeah, good bounce off the 200 period moving average. When you like good stocks, that's usually a very good place to be a buyer. Let me just quickly double check, because we were mentioning this with regards to IBM the other day, and that bounce, well, more the load. This one was off the 50 period, but it did give you the 200 period earlier. But when these things get the 200 period and hold them, then they can be very, very good. I wonder if we have any big cap tech upgrades and downgrades. Something tells me there better be some upgrades in the retail space after yesterday, but let's check in with Joe.
Go check Joe.
No big cap tech, but yes, a lot of retail names, guys. Let's get this started with the upgrades and downgrades. At the top of the list here, guys, we have BMO Capital Markets raising that price target on Autodesk to $343, and we're up 8% in the morning session, so that's a nice move here, guys. And then Best Buy, a lot of tells the advisory group here. Best Buy getting that price target raised to $95 as well. You're up 1.4% in the pre-market sessions. Now, as for Kohl's, guys, getting that price target raised to $23, but you're down 0.45% here. I mean, that's not too horrible of a look. You can completely recover that in the intraday session. Now, as for Urban Outfitters, guys, you're up a whopping 15.9% here, with the price target being lifted to $85. And then here is on the downgrades, Clearfield Needham lowering that target to $45. You're still positive in the pre-market session. As for Dick's Sporting Goods, guys, you're getting that price target lower to $245. And then HPQ by TD Cowen getting that price target lower to $26. You're down 2.34% in the pre-market session. And as for Zscaler, the boys were talking about this earlier in the day, you're down almost 6% in the pre-market. Price target lowered to $310 by Needham, guys.
Yeah, real quick, guys, just a couple things moving around here. Following that data that we got at 8:30, I wanted to mention the dollar first off. We saw a decent-sized spike to the upside initially. We're coming actually back in now for the DXY, but it's worth noting. That's what the dollar is doing on a 15-minute chart. We also saw yields move on that 830 number as well. A decent size pop, again, a 15-minute chart, back to 403 on the 10-year, 30-year looks the same. If you zoom out on either of these, however, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 days straight to the downside. Finally back to green though, so yield showing a little bit of strength here early on, countering what we've seen so far with the market, looking somewhat strong as well.
Yeah, that 10-year, we've been underneath 4 points. That can't hurt. Well, with regards to the upgrades and downgrades, yeah, expected retail to be on the left side, at least some of them, but DIX, not so much. Unfortunately, it was a really good relief rally yesterday, at least for most of the day on DIX. It was back and was going to close. I mean, it's technically still at or above that 200-period moving average, which has been a very important indicator for the stock. So I guess it's undecided. It felt like after yesterday, this would be a hold over the 200 and go kind of stock, but unfortunately catches the downgrade and it's still right back to square one. So this might be a pass, or at least give it another couple of days, I think, for DIX, unfortunately. Urban's the one that'll be on mine today. That's the day one earnings play. The potential for the high break, because it only did it in the pre-market, but Urban up there on the upgrade side makes sense. Retail was huge yesterday for some big movers, but can we actually break in the open market after 9:30? Can we take out these tops? It's one thing to wick the tops after market or do it in the pre-market. It's another to actually break it a little bit later.
I asked earlier to people in the chat here, or on Twitterverse here, happy early Thanksgiving. Before the turkey, what are we trading today? What's up to Pops Mafia wants to add some dividend-paying ETFs. I think that's a good idea. I mean, you got to get something going on here. Mr. PD Rider here, a bunch of names, man. Urban, you're all over this place. Woof, Amber here. Texas, Nvidia, XOM wants to get a little long on that today. Nvidia, Dane Generous, what's up, Dane? I see you in the chat all the time. Nvidia, of course. WeBull, wants to sell Nvidia. Get some WeBull leaps off this, so that's a good move there. Fisherman, Tesla. Good morning, Legend. Good morning to you, Glitch. What's up with Oracle right there? Harshit wants to add it there at 195. That's a good move there. Uber, we like that. And shout out to everybody else there, FOMO and Art there saying good morning, good morning, good morning to you. We are getting ready to trade and talk about super chats. Nvidia calls from yesterday going to print, yes. Nvidia right now is at, thank you, Jaka there. I think Nvidia will print today, and kablam right there, man. Nice move up through 180. There goes Nvidia. So yeah, if you had calls from yesterday, I don't see them being a problem. So, you're already up that 1.6%. Obviously, you're looking to, I would think a 183. We could even get there in the pre-market. So I don't know what kind of value those calls are at right now, what your strike is or anything, but yeah, I think 185, 186, like we're going to go here on Nvidia. It's only up 1.6%. And as people realize that Nvidia probably shouldn't have been sold this hard, but there was some negativity around it, right? So 1.6 is not that huge. We can go up 3 or 4% from here. So, you're already up right now. Where did we close yesterday? So we closed at 178, let's just say. So you're up $2 here. Add another $2, that gets you up to 4%. I think 185 today is reasonable area for Nvidia. So that's this top that we just made a couple days ago. I think that's a very, very reasonable target to have. So if you're long Nvidia, I think it works. And AMD, it's not just like it's just Nvidia going. I mean, AMD is also at the day's high right now. The market's not doing anything, and these stocks are bumping. So yeah, some nice moves happening right now, market-wide in the chip space, let alone, probably a name like Broadcom. Yeah, 381, 382. This is actually trying to hit the skids a little bit the other way there. So that's strange. So
yeah, it is.
Don't normally see these going oppo right there. But again, Broadcom, I mean, they're all competing with each other at the end of the day, right? There's only so much money that Google's going to have, Meta's going to have to throw around.
I think that's the story. Because when Google was going up, you had AMD and Nvidia going down. Broadcom makes that tensor, helps design and make that tensor chip for Alphabet. So it would make some sense. Because look at some other names. Micron's not breaking out, but it's up. ARM's up. So really, it was just Broadcom and Alphabet that they're catching some strays from the rally in Nvidia and AMD. And I guess that's how this market's been. Some days it's like chips go up and Apple goes down. for the last couple of days, we have Google and Broadcom, I guess, going oppo to Nvidia.
I mean, Google is going tanko right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's red now. On
so I think what people are probably doing, which is a smart thing to do, as traders much smarter than I, rotating. You know, you've had such a monstrous move in Google. We talked about it. This is adding hundreds of billions of dollars in a week, okay, on this name. So you've gotten the king, Nvidia, gotten hit on news, Google trying to take that over, right? So they go to the upside. Now Google's coming down. I mean, we're not seeing any news, right? So, but that's coming back in right now pretty aggressively, unless there is a news story that I'm missing. I mean, Adair and Brendan are on the desk, so we'll see if there is anything. But there comes Google right back in pretty aggressively. And meanwhile, you know, money I could see coming in and out. So out and in right here. So In-N-Out burger. I've never even had one of those, but just burgers are always so good. Too bad burgers aren't a Thanksgiving delicacy.
They can,
but they definitely can be. You can have a burger, whatever the hell you want. Last night we had Freshie. Shout out to Adara with Freshie. That's what we had last night. So Buddha Satai.
Adara likes Freshie?
Yeah, Adara likes Freshie, and Adara used to work at Freshie.
Oh, I did not know that.
Employee of the month, she got 3 months in a row. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I know I made that employee of the month part up, but maybe she did, maybe she didn't. All right.
Either way.
Yeah, let's, okay, more super chats.
Throw it up.
Party people.
Mr. B. Davis.
You read it, Neil. What is he saying?
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you. It's been a while. How's everyone? I see the new backdrop. It's amazing. I love this show. Are we trading Urban today? Please tell me Blake Griffin is still on the show. Hashtag Joe the man.
Blake is still
Joey
here.
options
Blake
look like Blake Griffin?
Well, it looks like Blake Griffin's like little brother.
Maybe.
He looks exactly like Blake
You got
Griffin.
the hops. Can you dunk?
If you can he dunk?
Throw down, little two-hand action.
Okay.
Lob City, man. Lob City.
If he takes off those glasses, he looks like.
Well, it's crazy. Chris Paul's going to retire end of the year. He was the one throwing those lobs. He's still kicking around there.
Okay.
It was him to Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, right? That was Lob City back in the day. Thank you for the super chat. Urban's on the mind today for myself. It's about volume. I want to make sure this actually is going to trade. So there's no volume in this pre-market. It was like 27,000 shares. It's 100,000 shares. And a lot of that was a dark pool print at 8 o'clock. So really, it's not trading. 60-cent spread, 60 to 70-cent spread right now. So it's not doing much. And it needs to be holding above $80. Just go to the daily chart. Like sustaining this breakout. I want to see the buyers come in. I don't think I would touch this until after 9:45, get a 15-minute candle in with some volume. But if it's above 80 after that 15-minute candle, yeah, I'm looking long on Urban. But it's got to meet that condition. I don't want to force things. The holiday, like I said, holiday shortened week, you're already going to have lighter volume. So names that you're iffy on what liquidity is like or how much volume it typically does, you want to be even more patient with. Like we have a sense of, I know what AMD looks like at the open. I know what Apple looks like at the open. Urban, not so much. So this is one I wouldn't want to rush into.
We have Mr. P. DeRider's name here, Amber International Holdings, up 63%, better than expected Q3, and a $50 million buyback, which is nice. So there goes AMBR, Amber International. So this could be a runner here today, just taking out the 50-period moving average right now. And that's always good. Like, you never want to be part of this move, but finally, maybe the buyer's getting a little bit of control here of Amber. But, watch out, hitting the 50-period moving average at 240 right now on the daily chart. So AMBR, thanks for that shout out there on Twitterverse going through. Oh, Wingstop opens up their 3,000th restaurant, I see. Right here. Retail has been strong, but restaurants have not. So, Wingstop getting, if you were in this, you might have got Wingstopped out, but I don't know, right there, breaking back. Was that all right? Oh man, I've been doing
Joe's
this.
More of a
I've been doing this too long. But there's 270 right there coming in for Wingstop. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk, and we're going to start our rundown pretty soon.
Yeah, lots to note today. Let's do a quick recap here. Lots of people just joining. If you are one of those, hi, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, and make sure you come join us every single morning at 8 o'clock now, guys. We've switched. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we used to start at 8:30. We now get 30 minutes more every single pre-market. Let's give you a recap here of some of the data points that we had a little bit earlier at 8:30 this morning. Durable goods orders month over month for September comes in 0.5% to the upside. 0.2 was the expected number. Initial jobless claims, meanwhile, 216,000, better than the 224,000 that was expected. 1.96 million versus 1.97 million on the continuing jobless claims numbers. That had the dollar back to the upside. That had some of the treasuries back to the upside this morning. All kinds of movement on the individual side of things. We're going to talk about Robinhood coming up here, but this MyX exchange story, an interesting one today.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like when we heard these reports going back a couple of weeks ago now that Robinhood was going to get into the prediction market space, I mean, it makes sense. A lot of these names are doing that, but this is interesting. This is the route they go. And again, this is just my brain personally spiraling. I find it very interesting, Brendan, that they did this in collaboration with Susquehanna, which is an analyst. So I hope that Susquehanna is not putting any analyst notes out on MIAX or HOOD, because that would be a conflict of interest. But again, that's my very hyper particular brain just getting mad about one part of the story. In all, it seems like an interesting catalyst. But again, as you mentioned, odd way to kind of do it.
Yeah, or maybe it's a part of the deal. Maybe it's a we'll help you out and you help us out kind of transaction here. Kind of funny, or not really funny, but an Amazon-related story today in regards to a drone. One of their drones over in Europe crashed into a hydro line and actually took out power. I hope the package arrived still, okay? But anyways, the stock doesn't seem to care today. This one, Sean, specifically, ahead of a day on which everyone is going to be doing a lot of shopping potentially on Amazon, looking pretty good so far this morning.
Saw that. It's funny that we're just concerned if the package arrived. Like, forget about all the power that got taken out and, you know, people's homes being affected. And, you know, if the power ever went out at my house, the kids would just be instantly being like, Dad, the internet's down. Like, they wouldn't even realize that power was off. They would just be like, oh my God, the internet's down. Forget about that, their computer's not even working. It's like the other day we were sitting there watching something, and all of a sudden, I think the internet might have flickered or went off and on, and instantly my son was like, Dad, what happened? Because he's up there playing some video games, wondering what was going on. But yeah, good story there for Robinhood anyways. I don't know, the prediction markets are something that, you know, not really regulated, you know, heavily as much as these betting markets and gambling, but there's going to be a problem soon. You're going to start to get reports that, I mean, I already heard it on the way in today, that, and unfortunately it's younger males right now that they're noticing that are just hitting these, because you can literally bet on anything. You're sitting down there, you have your computer open, you're on Polymarket, Call Sheet, Robinhood, IBKR, wherever you are. DraftKings is obviously sports related right now, but as you get into the prediction market, it's just so easy to bet on anything. You can bet on who's winning Dancing with the Stars, or I don't know, whatever you want to bet on. Non-sports related here, right? How many words the Fed, you know, how many times they're going to say like robotic or whatever, like, so, and they were just saying that it's going to start affecting pocketbooks at some point, because gambling is a losing game, you know, and this is why all these guys want to get involved with it. Take the rake, take the money, and run, right? It's one of the oldest and, you know, most trusted, you know, forms of profiting is gambling. Like we talked about running numbers back, you know, back in the 20s, you know, whatnot. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like even now the lottery and everything, right? And so I think Robinhood's going to work on this. And, you know, as Bitcoin stabilizes, I think that's more the story for Robinhood, the stabilization of crypto right now, giving them a little bit of a base, right? Because most of their action is most likely going to be in these markets and crypto. And that's what it's been so far, in options markets. And people will start to put money down once this market calms down. I mean, volatility is great for traders like us, but in the option game, it can just provide such huge swings, and you just hope you're caught on the right side. But remember, whenever someone's in an option, there's always someone that's buying it and someone that's writing it. So there's going to be a push and pull from those sides of things as well. I don't know about Amazon. I mean, Brendan sort of led the story there as a Black Friday thing, but remember, like, Black Friday's here now, right? I mean, this is sort of what we've already talked about, and a lot of it is you buy the rumor, kind of sell the news, and Black Friday's here. So I don't want to buy Amazon for their retail strength. I want to buy them for AWS. I want to buy them for Zoox and what they're trying to do there. Also, I forget what it's not Starlink, but they have something else, obviously, that they're dealing with as well with satellites. And yeah, no, not Blue Origin. No. They have a much bigger internet in the sky story for Amazon. So it's buying these mega cap. It's buying these mega cap names on weakness because the next story is just around the corner. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, Google with Meta, boom. Like next thing you know, it's going to be Amazon with somebody, teaming up, or all of a sudden Waymo and Zoox are, taking over. There's always going to be money floating around. Bezos owns 4 or 5 yachts. So, this guy's just chilling right now. It's Andy Jassy time, and we're going to wait to see what happens there with AWS. Good quarter for them as we continue to watch out for Amazon. So I like this stock. It's one of the ones that's just at the 50 period. We bounced so strongly off of the 200 that I do think that the next move, we see the highs before we see this again. So for me, Amazon has movement to the upside. And if you're not in it, I don't think this is a bad spot to get involved with right now.
Yeah, holding the 50, buying off the 200 has been where it's at for these guys. So if you didn't buy that, fair enough. But you're not too late. I also don't like buying anything in front of an event or on the event. And with Black Friday happening now, it just doesn't, to me, it's a weird chase for that moment. But I think that 200 is give you a good spot. For the trade, however, today, it's a little, yesterday it made this breakout, the 228. It's a little extended from that. So I think that would have been the level I'd be a little bit more interested in for Amazon. I do have some eyes set on, obviously, the chip names, and Apple are going to be in play today a little bit more so than in Amazon. There's a couple of stories I just heard in the ear. I don't know that anyone is going to be that interested in potentially trading Lockheed, but they are presenting at a conference. And then when we're talking about the small cappers, I believe Sean was mentioning one. Amaze was also doing some pretty solid volume. It's the story here that kind of gets me, because all I could see this morning, and you can't make this up 33% this penny stock on 38 million shares traded this pre-market. So up 33% on 38 million shares, and the story is the CEO bought 336,000 shares. Which obviously, if you look at yesterday's prices, it didn't cost them that much because it was a 35-cent stock. So it's really not even, that's not a lot of money spent. So the CEO spent 100 grand on stock, and this thing goes up 30%. No, it's a vote of confidence, I'm sure, but yeah, just that's the story for AMZE. Certainly worth keeping on watch. It's going to do great volume today, so if there is things slow down, this somehow is magically above I like VWAP here, but on penny stocks, I try not to ignore the psychological level of 50 cents. So here, it's rounding out. Obviously, the next stop would be trying to test this 80-cent level. But if it's not holding a nice little psychological level like 50, then I wouldn't be that interested, even if it is holding VWAP. So I'm going to have this one on the side burner just in case. But I don't really love that catalyst. You got to do better than the CEO bought 100K worth of stock. I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? Let's get into the rundown. Some bigger names to talk about. Someone buys that much stock in Nvidia every 2 seconds.
Quickly on Apple as well. It's interesting. It's coming back in here, but there was a note from Counterpoint Research just came out on Apple, and they're talking a little bit about the market share, smartphone market share once again. I didn't even realize this, but it's been Samsung at the top of that list since 2011. I wouldn't have thought it was that long, but Counterpoint Research saying they now see Apple retaking #1 on the smartphone market share for the first time since 2011. Sean's walking through the shot a little bit, but that's fine. It's been a long time, obviously, since we've had that shift happen, but Samsung, top of the list, they're saying Apple's going to retake it by the end of this year, and that's on the back of the iPhone 17.
Yeah, I've said this on the midday, and I'll say it again here. I think my biggest issue with this kind of catalyst, just in terms of what it means, is that Like, if you have this one phone that does really well, that means people might not continue upgrading, right? You get all these upgrades now, then what kind of happens to smartphone market share going forward, right? So that's, I think, always the thing to remember with these super cycle type things, at least in my opinion. With regards here, though, to what this means for Apple, at least from a perception standpoint, I think it's a really good look because we know Apple's been really beat up, especially with China. If they can overtake Samsung after 14 years,
I was talking to Ramin about the 17 Pro, Ramin. Yeah. Ramin approved. So that's catalyst for you enough, I think. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab that. Absolutely free every single day. Comes right to your inbox. The link is below. Top link in the description will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. Has everything you need to know on it right to your inbox every single day in the pre-market. Then you join us at 8 a.m. Remember, 8 a.m. switch from 8:30 starting this week and forevermore going forward. Let's talk Robinhood. We hinted at it. They're just coming up to 8 o'clock, or 9 o'clock. But coming back in right now, we stalled out a little bit here at 122, teaming up on this MIAX derivatives exchange.
Yeah, so Robinhood plus Susquehanna, again, an analyst, they're teamed up together and they're going to be taking together a 90% stake in the MIAX derivatives exchange. So this could actually be giving Robinhood and Susquehanna direct control over listing and managing some prediction market products. They're planning on expanding into the sector. We've heard reports going back, as I mentioned earlier, a couple of weeks ago, suggesting Robinhood was trying to move into this direction. For their part, Robinhood has said the deal is going to allow them to give retail and institutional investors and traders access to these event-based futures, as they're called, and MIAX will be maintaining a 10% ownership of the MIAX DX.
Looking very strong here, guys, especially compared to the overall market for Hood once again.
Yeah, we were sort of talking about Hood, but for a brief second, I mean, MIAX is your first real chance on a dip since the IPO. Miami Exchange has only gone up. When everyone trades in the market, there's a buyer and a seller. You were just talking about the rake, and these guys take the rake on that gateway, right? So each side of the trade, the more volume there is, the better they're going to do. And now they get a little bit of profitability out of one of their divisions, and we'll see how that fares. But I like that 50 period over there for the Miami Exchange, Robinhood in particular. Here, I'll show you my issue with the stock at this price. Remember that rather nasty drop that we had on last Thursday? That was more or less right here. It was like the start of that fall was right at $122 on Robinhood. So it's already filled the gap in from the 2-day highs into that level. So this is not a chase. This would not be a chase. It's up 4.5%. This better break out above 123 after the opening range, or it's like wait for it to potentially fill in the gap. I do not like that. I just feel like you want to avoid potential traps, and that was a huge, huge sell area that you were not able to press through, and it's already pulling back on Robinhood. So kind of count me out up here on Hood up top. I think there might be some better places to look initially at 9:30.
Yeah, I mean, we sort of did our best there with Robinhood a little earlier, and I like the stock. It's now starting to turn back to the upside there. We bounced pretty clean off of $100, so that was nice. And here goes MIAX. This is the exchange that we're talking about. They've had a great IPO, one of the best ones of the year, I would say, and it just happened in August. $30 up to $50. Nice little pullback over the last little while, so we'll have to wait to see if you're involved in this name. Again, like interesting to see the tie up there. I think there's more to come on that story for sure. But SoFi to me is the great bounce story too, because that came back into $25, and that was, again, such a great level, and sitting on my hands and not buying it was a mistake. But that $25 there, you're up $3 off 25. Like you're already up 10 and a bit percent on a bank. Like that's a great bounce there for SoFi. So I always look at some of the new technology that's coming in with Robinhood, WeBull. I mean, we get a nice little bounce up there today on WeBull, so that could be part of the Robinhood story as well, right? Like just other names getting involved. So I think the crypto settling down, that's kind of cool right now for Robinhood and WeBull. And yeah, I think there's more to come in these names. I would tend to look at WeBull today only being a $9 stock. Watch to see what happens at 10. I mean, $10 was a pretty interesting level. That's how bad the chart looks, but $10 was good for about a week and a half, and it wasn't sure what it wanted to do once it was underneath it. It kept on bouncing its head off there. So I think if we get a nice move today, it's already, what, 930s, 940s? You know, you can get up to $10. I think that puts it up 14, 15%. And then we look to fade off 10, I think, today for WeBull. So, you know, if you, we can test with 100 shares. Yeah, so we have to pay for shorts. So if you want to go short on WeBull, our broker, we'd have to request them. So they're not automatically loaded into the system, so there'll be a small fee to short WeBull. So off Robinhood, is Robinhood along? Yes. Is WeBull along? I think yes. And I think there's more room to go, both to the upside. We are going to talk about Google in a minute. I just wanted to see if the bleeding had stopped yet, and not really. I mean, we're right back into yesterday's lows. That's kind of interesting for me here on Google. Good look at 318. That could be a monster trade at some point today, especially if that market gets back to the upside. Like, oh boy, you know, if you're going to give us that low that matches it with yesterday, that is basically giving us like the green light to take this thing long around 318, 317. But again, still 20 minutes to go. I'm getting excited about it again on Google, but maybe a little premature. Tesla. That break of 420, I mean, that's going to be one to talk about here, especially if we hold, because I think we're indicating much higher on Tesla. Let's go find out the story, and then we'll get going with that.
One of those stocks that typically, or tends to do this anyways, when there's a significant level, you'll come in the next morning and ta-da, it's gapping above it. That is the case today. We're all the way up to 425. There's 420 as we were talking. A bit of a problem over the past couple of days here to the top side for Tesla. That was Elon on X yesterday saying the robo-taxi fleet in Austin specifically should roughly, quote unquote, double by next month. Checking the math on that, that would be 500-ish already on the roads if he can hit that mark.
And we know he's been trying to expand into other states as well, getting some approval, most recently in Arizona and Nevada, though, because you have to both get approval to have an autonomous vehicle and then also approval to run a taxi service. There are multiple levels of permits required. There's also India here to discuss, Brendan. So the company's Model Y in India is being priced at roughly $67,200, which is going to be roughly 70% higher than in the US. You know, there's these tariffs. However, the general manager of Tesla India has basically said that buyers can recover roughly 1/3 of the cost through fuel and maintenance savings. So yeah, India Model Y a little bit pricey, and we'll have to see if this rollout of the robo-taxis goes quite as Elon thinks it will.
We'll have to see how the rollout of that Model Y in India goes as well, because if you recall, going back to the first round of sales data we got out of India, it was nowhere near, I think, what a lot of people were expecting, and pretty dismal, in fact, on the bigger picture. So an even more pricier model now for that market. I mean, let's see. Hopefully it does well, but going to take some time, I think, in that market. Here's 425, though, guys, starting to act as resistance now.
Yeah, but we don't care about auto sales for Tesla, do we?
No.
That doesn't matter anymore. We're on to bigger and better things. I mean, that's what the market's telling you. So let's, deal with that. We're about optimists, baby. Look, 420. It's more than just a fun number on this stock. It is what it is. It's been rejecting 420, but every time it's done so, it's like traded into 420 and come out the other way nastily, including that big Thursday drop that we had. This is probably built a little bit different than you're gapping up, but the open range has to prove that there's buyers up here. So I think we kept talking about liquidity on daylight today. Well, I think you trade to the liquidity area at 420. If you come out green, I think 419 is more of a reasonable test. If you come out holding that, then I think back through the 420 is going to be a long. But this is one where you got to be willing to play in both directions. Like if we close a 15-minute candle underneath 420, then I don't want to be thinking Tesla long, because I feel like that will have been a mistake. And yesterday I was a little bit too biased in terms of direction on Google, on Alphabet. So it's like exited a long position, and then it set up like a really, really good short, but I was biased to the long side. I didn't take it. So I don't want to have that mentality today, that just because I'm looking one direction first, I'm unwilling to go into the other. So that'll be the plan over there on Tesla. And we will talk Google next. And there was someone in the chat saying, hey, you guys going to talk about AMD? Trust me, we always talk AMD, but we'll usually do so in conjunction with Nvidia, which is also going to be up next.
Yeah. Yesterday we traded Tesla pretty good, but not early, right? We talked about the move that happened early, and this was the drip all morning, and it wasn't even a drip. It was pretty aggressive. We were able to buy it there around 411, 412, and then up. This guy over here. What's this guy's name again? Robert Redford. Okay, but what the character though? Anyways, we'll figure it out. But this is funny. Like I'm looking over this guy staring at me, and then eventually we were able to pick it off of this 406, 407 bottom, and then it just started to rip city, right? And so from 406 yesterday up to 420. So we do know that Tesla has the pedigree to do moves like that, and so right into their 420 long. I put it on today's note. Definitely want to have a look there. You know, robo-taxi hype again coming through. The strong pre-market. They made that great low in there around that, you know, yesterday's low anyways. The key level of 420 finally gets broken out. So yeah, I like the trade. This is what it looks like on the daily chart. Starting to break through. Got this garbage out of here. Now we go back upside. And the thing about this, you know, when I look at a chart anyways, when you're at these highs and you continue to sort of hold them, which Tesla in bad stories, bad news, you know, coming back into the downside right here, they're still holding highs. Like this is still relatively high for Tesla. I mean, we were down in the 200s earlier on this year, you know, so the fact that we're at 420 and trying to keep this, I think it goes higher from here. You know, if it's not going to the downside and we're bidding off this 4 bills, these are some of the lows I'm talking about, like just holding down there, then now I think it's time to get going back up to the upside. So this 420 take is hopefully something that we can hit today. You know, let's be patient. Let's not catch that knife like we did yesterday, but let's just wait until it looks like it's slowing down. And I'm just hoping that that level is 420 because it's such an obvious one. So yeah, bids at 420 if and when we hold. But not until then, right? I don't need this market giving everything back. We were down, what was it, yesterday we were down, what, 1 or 2% in the middle of the day, you know? And then it was just like, see you later. For Tesla to go to 406 yesterday, you know, it tells you everything you need to know. Like, that's a big move. That's the Q's going down from 604 yesterday down to 596, or yeah, 596, and then just closing the day where we did. Like, that's a big reversal from the first half hour. So a lot of sell volume, and then you don't see much of it again at all. If anything, most of the bids were the bigger volume candles there yesterday. So let's see if that holds true there today with the Qs holding up 0.5%. All right, here comes Nvidia, Google, and then Autodesk. So lots of stuff happening right here.
Nice reversal so far for market back higher in a pretty good way right now, 176 all the way up to 182. If you go back to 2 days ago, that was roughly where we struggled trying to get through some resistance around that 182. But yeah, I mean, that was one of many comments along the same line that I saw yesterday, suggesting Google TPUs are a more quote unquote cost-effective means of getting this same job done. And I think those comments were started maybe even from Jensen, who is hinting at the simple fact that are generational, I think was one of the terms he used. And congratulations, as you were saying, to Google, but we're still winning this race.
Yeah, it was quite the sassy comment, and actually, at least initially, a lot of people on social media interpreted that as a bad sign for NVIDIA. Like, NVIDIA was panicking a bit, so they had to release this statement. But Jensen's kind of like this, if you've seen him speak publicly, so this shouldn't be too much of a surprise. There's a couple other things, though, that I think are interesting, Brendan, including the fact that apparently NVIDIA privately addressed some bearish concerns, mostly to sell-side investors. And Bernstein actually saying after that, hey, we like NVIDIA, $275 price target. We're not too concerned about these things that they are concerned about. Then we also had the information reporting that Chinese regulators are actually blocking ByteDance from using NVIDIA chips in data centers. Something we probably already knew, but the stock did actually drop when this came out pre-market around 7 a.m.
As we've seen in the past, or recent past anyways, with this market, things get to be blown out of proportion a little bit, and there's a little bit of a panic reaction, and then everyone takes a breath and kind of realizes that maybe it's not so bad here, guys. That was a pretty big dip for NVIDIA, but great opportunity as well if you wanted to test the waters here as well.
Yeah, you're not getting that at the 200 period moving average on a dip, that's for sure, because that ship is, well, it didn't even get out of dock, so it doesn't really matter. At least for today, you do have some room, because it's been 185 to 50 period, and it's been kind of like a jump-off spot. When we get there, we hang there for a hot little minute. And going into it today, we've already broken out on NVIDIA, so this is like you'd have to be chasing up here. 185 doesn't stand out as much on the 15 as it does on the daily chart, but we get into that area, especially knowing that this is the last full trading day of the week. Yes, we do have a half day on Friday. I think you have some trouble getting through there. Not chasing this move. And the name that I kind of go over to, whoops, I almost typed in Amazon. The name that I go into, if we continue this trend of, Google's going down and AMD and Nvidia are going up, if Google finds that support, I'm just looking at sort of the obvious resistance areas that are back. And for the first time, I should say, being tested on AMD, the 210, which right now we're over, so I can't think here. Got to wait till that other high, which is, we got a couple sessions, 215, 216 up here on AMD. So this hasn't really cracked through. Remember that Thursday dive? Like, you're underneath all of that afternoon mess still on advanced micro devices. So if we're not breaking 185 on Nvidia, then those two levels matter for AMD. And that 210 could easily just be, maybe we lose 210 right away off the open, but you got to wait for that next level up in the chip space. So I'm looking AMD, it's like 215, 216. If Nvidia is not breaking 185, I still think there's going to be some resistance and selling up there. I'm not sure people are done with crapping on them for a bit.
Again, like, you guys can look, people are asking for the link in the sticky note. I love the discussion of my P&L with and without a hat on. That's the absolute best. Shout out to you guys there in the chat. Lots of fun happening. Get involved in the chat, by the way. Just posted the sticky note link in there. But I have Nvidia written down on here as a buy at 175. I mean, it's been a rough week for sure for Nvidia with a lot of negative stories. But, come negative stories comes good story. And today, the fact that they are generational, leaps and bounds above everybody else right now. This AI story, if you either believe in it or you don't. I mean, and these guys are leading the way. So there's going to be other chips made, Baba, like this with Google right into here, Intel, but they're all going to have different uses, and they all have their own uses. So I still think Nvidia is what it is, man. I mean, Meta's spend on Meta is incredible, and I don't think Google or any of these guys are going to stop looking at Nvidia GPU. Just with robotics, I mean, we're not even into robotics yet, and I think Nvidia inferencing and everything like that. There's going to be some nice get up here to Nvidia, and I think you might have seen the bottom there, temporary. I mean, bottom. I mean, this market could, really retrace back in. I mean, we only got I think it was at the low we talked about yesterday. 5 or 6% correction was the low there on Nvidia. So. But yeah, so I was just looking here for 175. I don't think we get there. Like, this is the thing about writing the sticky note early, and just for everybody that's joining us, you may be used to us starting at 8:30. We start at 8 o'clock now, and I saw some people in the chat that were here like at 8:30 and being like, whoa, these guys started already? We're at 8 o'clock now. And so that's part of the problem with me getting a little early on the note is, we're at 177 at 8 o'clock. That has now risen. So now I'm thinking like this 177 is maybe even 178 might be the low today for Nvidia. Yesterday's high break, you're telling me that if this comes back into flat on the day, people aren't going to want to buy Nvidia at zeros. So let's think about that for a second. And yeah, I want to be the dip buyer on Nvidia today, 100%. AMD goes up and down with Nvidia. Yesterday we had AMD down 8% or something at its lows. And oh boy, was that a good trade as well off those $200 level break right there. My best trade yesterday was this short. We had it early because we were really biased red on Nvidia. And that was an awesome trade early. We're able to go from 202 down to 194. And then that break of 200 right into here. Wasn't that great early. I don't know, I guess we must have broke there and fell back in, but then that break helped us. And then into the afternoon, I don't know what happened, but the whole market sort of in the chip space really took off. There goes AMD. So I think if you're going to look for an AMD long, it's probably around 206, but I would much rather catch a long in Nvidia rather than AMD. But there's a 200 period at 206 and actually matches with yesterday's closing high rate. I mean, I like both these names for longs today, but worth having a look, right? No major economic numbers. We already got through those there. So leading into what we're looking forward to now is just more chip strength. We're going to look to see if Google, which is the next story here, can hold some of these lows. And remember I said, like, if 318 or 319 holds, then that's going to give us such a great trade. Well, guess what happened? That came right back in. Like, too bad that I wasn't really in trading mode yet. Like that 318.20s there, what a great hold downside. Now you're up $3 from there. So Google looks like it wants to hold. Let's go find the stories on this big stock heading into what's a full day today, off tomorrow, and half day on Friday.
Enjoys their Thanksgiving. Here is the Jets, just real quick on airlines. Speaking of Thanksgiving, here's the Jets ETF. I was just reading a story suggesting that this Thanksgiving and the travel season surrounding this holiday in the US could be record-breaking as far as traffic is concerned. So if you want to just make it easy on yourself instead of trying to pick an airline, Jets is pretty easy. But I also did see that 2% of Jets is Air Canada.
What?
I don't know how I feel about that. But anyways, all of the US airlines are in there as well. SoftBank, yeah, let's go to Google. Masayoshi-san, down $5 billion in net worth on the back of what happened over the past few days surrounding Alphabet and OpenAI. They still have a massive investment in OpenAI, the value of which not doing too well. Shares of SoftBank down 11% in the Asian market over the past couple of days. So not holding up too well, but if you scroll down here, I wanted to highlight this. $49.3 billion has come off of the top line of his net worth specifically on the back of this story. But I mean, he's fine. Let's not worry about him. But that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a lot of money, and I believe it was Mizuho. I could be incorrect, but I just saw a note from, I think Mizuho, saying that they right now are in the camp of long Google, short everything else in the AI space, like short Oracle, short Amazon, short Microsoft, short Nvidia. So it's getting kind of intense. Like, and also, again, it's worth noting, Broadcom is also involved here in that Google long as well. They are involved in those Google chips. So ABGO and GOOGL, we saw it yesterday as well, both gapping up and pushing lower. That could be a good sympathy play if you don't quite want to get involved with Google. But either way here, it's interesting to see this tide kind of turning. People are still interested in AI. They're just not interested necessarily in the same names right now.
The argument might have shifted again today. I brought up that, I should have grabbed it, but I brought up that chart, the ranking of all the AI LLMs as of Monday, and then as of Tuesday, it was Google. This all on the back of Gemini 3 coming out. I was reading this morning that the latest version of Claude, I think it's Opus 5 or something like that, has now surpassed Gemini 3. So it was short-lived, but if you're a user of Claude, apparently they're back on top right now. Guys, Google opposite of Nvidia chart right now.
Yeah, they're clearly right now, you can see the correlation that's going on, right? Like one goes up, the other goes down. Alphabet's up 230% or something like that from the April lows. So does it make sense that people are taking profits on this? Absolutely, it makes sense. They're just seeing some profit taking here in Alphabet. And specifically, like yesterday, even on the gap up, it was mostly sell. And today on another gap up, it's mostly sell. It's just nowhere near the big level would be like 25 to 26 on Alphabet. It's only $5 or $6, so it can easily pull back into that level. But the way I also look at it too is like you've got to think if this ends up breaking out above that, then you could be seeing rollover in AMD and NV. So don't forget about the correlation that seems to be holding right now. So yeah, if you break out above that level, it's not just that Google, to me, gets bullish again, but then you got to start thinking bearish on the other names. Quick look at the locator. It's just TeraWulf. Well, actually, WBD is a buy as well. So Warner Brothers Discovery is a buy of 1 million. TeraWulf is a buy of 1 million shares as well. Nothing too much standing out on this imbalance locator with only about 3 minutes to go till the open, and use there if you like it. Oracle is actually a 200,000 buy. Oracle's been pretty strong this morning. So pretty light board in terms of the locator.
Unfortunately, like with Google making this move down, it is going to be hard to go long. We already looked at that price right there. That was the lows from yesterday. So we're just going to have to look to see if that holds. I don't want to stand there and take it. You know, like I want to wait to see what it does. Like this move there, and maybe it's the Claude talk, maybe it's just overbought, and I think it's the latter, right? I think this is overbought. Gemini is, Joe sent me some hot stuff from Gemini, and it's just like, some of the stuff that I've seen created with that nano banana and just things like what Gemini's been doing here, it's just been amazing. Like this LLM and that they're already monetizing this thing. Like I really like Google for the long term, and honestly, like any dip buys available into this 280 marker, geez, like I am loading up. I really like them for quantum. I like them for socials with YouTube, and that's not going anywhere. We had the talk yesterday about Spotify versus YouTube Premium versus. Like, there's so much happening. And what do you think is going to happen over the winter holidays? Like, kids are going to be at home, and YouTube's numbers are going to freaking skyrocket, man. Like, I even said the other day we were watching a show, and someone mentioned something about Twitch, and I was like, oh yeah, Twitch. Like, okay. Like, shout out to iShowSpeed and all those guys, but like, what's going on with Twitch? Like, so Google right now, YouTube, I just think there's a lot of levers to be pulled. And I really like Google, and it will be along in the portfolio at some point today, but I think we got to let this settle down because there's obviously something brewing with the Nasdaq up 0.6 and this down 1%. All right, 1 minute to go. Rapid fire on Autodesk.
Just actually tried to test highs once again. ADSK earnings after the close last night, better than expected.
Yeah, they beat here, and their guidance was above estimates. Just to be quick, their new EPS guidance for the year, they raised it 10.18 to 10.25, above estimates of 9.95. Adjusted EPS for the quarter, 2.67, and then sales beat.
Might be an imbalance on this, guys. This thing's flying around right now.
If there is one, I don't see one on Autodesk. Certainly, the ADSK does not pop in. It's not going to be on the trading plan, but there's one name that I wanted to get to. 30 seconds to go in here very quickly. Twice, Opendoor has rejected $8 in the last couple of days. Each time, failing to hold above that price. If you get the same thing today, if we break and fake, then I want to look fade. If we close a bar above $8, I'm looking long on Opendoor. As we bring you the pre-Turkey Day bell, brought to you by 3D Capital. Scan that QR code you see out in front of you. Check them out. It is our hump day. It is our pre-Turkey Day, and the bell, well, it just got rung.
They'll be on right now. We didn't get to talk about Alibaba. I really like Alibaba today as well. Day 2 earnings play also on the sticky note right here. You know, we're right at a key level. I mean, if we break back above this 160, maybe 160.50 or so, I like Alibaba for the long. Let's see if that can get going now. Not even open yet on the market. So yeah, here we go, man. Nasdaq starting to go a little bit higher. We do like the look of Apple today. I do, and you know, we'll see. The new all-time high is 280 and change. So we'll see if we can make that today right now. But just bouncing around temporarily right here. Nvidia, I don't know. 180, 181, looks like it wants to break a little lower right now as well. So sitting on our hands early, and then I'll throw it to see if Neil's into anything. But there's Tesla, 424. So, you know, aggressive move down to 422 on that wick. I don't know if that was real, but those match these dark pool prints here at 8 o'clock on Tesla. So
if it was down there, it didn't spend any time.
No.
I'll tell you that much. No, Tesla did make a little bit of a dip, but not much of anything. Opendoor is not breaking that $8. It's actually heading in the other direction. I wanted it actually failing the $8 to the downside. Whoa. Okay, Apple.
Ripping, probably.
Yeah, Apple just took off the top a little bit here. So Apple is certainly heading higher. 280 was yesterday's high. Yeah, 280, I think, was about yesterday's high. So there's still some room to run. I want to see if I can buy this one back into 278. Did say that the last couple of sessions, this stock has had a 15-minute candle straight up, 5 days in a row, 15-minute candle straight up, and then that's basically been your best exit point most of the time. So Apple looking very, very strong. I want to buy into this. But after the first 15 minutes, I do want to be saying this is probably a fade.
Yeah, no, I made a little small keystroke error there and put in the wrong price for Apple. So I was going down to that
one. Higher anyway.
Yeah, it's going higher, so it's fine. It's working out, but we did punch out almost immediately on this trade. So yeah, we can hold a little bit of this, but this is not the trade. I was actually going to put 278 and by accident put 279. So you know what? I'm just going to actually. What's the point here? Let's just get this out on Apple right here if we can, and then deal with this in a minute here. I do have some shares on this name, so we don't need to be necessarily layered into this. But here it comes back in. So this is kind of the price that we want anyways. So let's see if we can get something down here on Apple into the low 278s. And then we'll see if we can hold that 277.50 or so where we started the day for Apple. But early trade there, but we did not mean to do that. It was not even... It was a decent amount of shares, but we did exit most of those, so we'll wait to see if Apple gets going through that 280 would be real nice. The BABA trade is one that could hit right now. I'm trying to go long 160.50. So here comes the break. We talked about that from yesterday. There's 160.50 right here. We've already sort of taken out the 160 level. That would have been a much better punch long 160, of course. but we'll wait to see. There it is. Oh, we missed it. So I'm not actually into this break right there. So what a break, man. I only moved up to 160.60 right there, and it looks like it does spike long there on that. But here goes Apple.
Apple just broke 78.
Yeah, so we're still long here, 278.50s.
Oh,
we don't want to just step out of this one, right? We want to wait for it. So here goes Apple. I don't know if you were long on that, but I'm still long.
Well, I got out, but I just jumped right back in. If it wicks me out, I prefer to usually take the L, and if it's a wick bottom, jump back in. But I still have a 15-minute time limit on this. Like, my rule for this was off the 15-minute chart, the fact that it was a pure green candle 5 days in a row. So that's the pattern action that I'm looking for. AMD still holding 210. The plan was to play off the 210 level on advanced micro devices. It's holding 210, so no trade for me there. Open Door is only tanking. So I don't think you're going to see $8 on Open Door anytime soon, unfortunately. And Tesla, we cannot ignore Tesla, which does not have an S on the end of it. Tesla is not tanking, but Tesla's falling back into 420. So got to keep some eyeballs on Tesla as well at that $420 level.
All right, so look, we did get some Alibaba in there, and it's okay. We already able to get some out in the 80s right here, and now it's starting to go back up. So our fill does happen right there on Alibaba. Like, it does come back in. I told you that I bid 160.60. That came in. So here we go now. It's Alibaba, and we're going to see if this one wants to continue upside from here. I'm waiting north. We just got another. I'm going to take another fill, actually, at 161 if we can get it. Then we're at 161 teens, and then we'll see if we can really break through on Alibaba. But here it is, man. It's a big trade for me. It's Apple. So Apple's starting to go finally. So we like that move right now for AAPL. There it is, man. It is our daily goal made already. But yesterday we made it early and lost it. So let's see what winds up happening now. And there we go. Nice move. Go Alibaba right now. Nice move upside for Alibaba. There we go again. So nice trade right there, man, for Baba. Nice trade for Apple so far as well. So yeah, what goes bump in the night? Hopefully these two names for me, as it's Apple right there and Alibaba starting to go back up to the upside. So big trade alert happening on this side right now. Lots of shares of Apple in the account.
Yeah, Apple getting close to the full dollar, but it's not really getting there just yet. You are seeing that continued breakdown here on Tesla. It's right into yesterday's high. Obviously, this is right now a falling knife. There's not going to be any trend breaks in the first 5 minutes, and this is not showing any signs of a buyer, unfortunately, while AMD just continues to hold that 210 level. So there's a seller at AMD at 211. I just had it set to get a breakdown underneath that 210, and I'm going to go ahead and cancel that temporarily. Make sure I cancel the right order, and then go back over and show you what's happening in Apple, because AMD is breaking out with the rest of the market. But Apple, right back in. I wicked out, got back in at VWAP. I want to reload over the pre-market high and see if we can still break out 79 into 80. There's still time on this 15-minute that you can be one of these straight shots up. But it's not nearly as strong as it was the last 5 sessions. The other name I was telling you guys was Open Door at the 8, no breakout of 8. Wasn't really chasing this one to the downside, but I will look to short a pop in Open. If it fails $8, then I want to be short Open Door, now down 1% and not participating in today's rally. Despite the fact that the rate odds go up, you would think that would be bullish for them. But apparently it is not.
It's a not. Okay, so, wow. Did Alibaba get excited or what off the open right there, right? I mean, it's a monster play. We got 161.50s. So we made almost. I don't want to say we did make $1 because we didn't. Well, actually, we did. We almost did. That's, 161.45 there. But we still have some shares on board here as Alibaba's fallen back in. And we said, this is part of what happens. There it is. We just took out 160 out. So Alibaba going to the downside, slightly red on that, but, the market's pulling back. I still like Alibaba to break back above, but I don't know, that was just early exuberance there and then a flushy flush to the downside there for Mr. Baba. I'm going to try it one more time here, though, just to see if that was early flush, just like it was an early buy. I don't know why people are stacked right there on 160, but all these ones, this to me is seems like a little bit of manipulation happening right here with all these stacked ones everywhere. But we're going to go long, and we're back in it right now. Alibaba. We'll take some more out if it can get back upside, but we need someone to run this thing again. There it is. So
Chinese stocks are never manipulated.
No, never. Take some more longs right there on Alibaba and just get another piece out there in the 40s. But yeah, this is an interesting one here. Like, see, like they're just letting these drop, and then the market drops in. But look at the Nasdaq really getting hit right now back in. So there we go, man. Now it's Apple time, back into some of these lows again.
Yeah, Apple right back into the lows. I did pick up Open Door at the volume weighted average price. It's early for VWAP, but it was right there at 770. That's heading back into the lows as, ooh, look at the Nasdaq here quickly. This is the Nasdaq. We just wicked the top on the NQ. This is a 15-minute chart, so obviously it's not closing for another 7 minutes, but we did just reject the overnight high break and still holding VWAP. So it's a bit of a chop fest. I almost wanted to say it's Friday. You might have Friday-like action. It's not Friday, obviously, but you might have Friday-like action. So I still think you can get this potential shakeout. But if this 15-minute candle closes on Apple and we're not breaking the highs, I got to stay away from this one. And we're about to get into AMD as well. Yeah, with that wick, you're now underneath that 210. That's a rejection of the 210 level here on advanced micro devices. See it try to break away from 211. Once we hold under VWAP, I will be short AMD. Nvidia is actually a little bit stronger than AMD right now. So AMD is down there, and Nvidia is actually holding its volume weighted average price. So right now, a little bit of extra strength here in our friend Nvidia, which, I mean, I guess that's true most of the time.
Yeah,
I've heard a halt, but I didn't catch.
Yeah, I didn't hear what was going on over there. Okay, so I'm still in
Apple.
these two names trying to hold out for Apple.
I'm out.
Like, you're out. Okay, so Apple right now trying to hold out against basically against VWAP, against his 50-period moving average and whatnot. So let's go Apple right now. Hopefully we can get some nice movements back upside here for AAPL, which we are getting right now. Come on, Apple. Like, this will be a huge trade if it can go for me. So who knows though? Right now, some outs on Apple. Like, we just averaged in down here. It is looking weaker than I'd thought today, right? I mean, I thought that we could have a chance to get back up into that 280 area, and we did. We got to 279. So those longs early were definitely great, as they were for most of this market, and then we just had this little fade back. So right now we're just long right here. Fine, man. Being long at 80s with a stop at 30 for me is, or at breaking through 50s is fine. So 30 cents worth of a stop. Well within my hold capabilities right here. So we'll wait for that. But we do have some shares on here, so we'll suck when this drops back in. And, you know, a name that's really getting hit right now, Tesla, down. So Tesla was up, and we were like, okay, Tesla's a nice little level there. But it can't catch anything right now. Yeah, that's for sure there for Tesla. I'm going to get out some more. There we go. Some more Apple as we get back through now 278. So hopefully that will continue to run. But yeah, Tesla's a little bit in trouble there. But just bouncing off the 200 right there. So yeah, man, 418. What did I write down for Tesla? 420 long. So we didn't want to catch that falling knife as we normally talk about. But there it goes. I know you got out of Apple, but here goes Apple again. So there it is. We'll take some 10s, some 15s. Let's go Apple upside right now. Big trade alert. I already talked about this. It's a big trade, so we're emptying it out, man. We do not want to sit around. Like, there's Alibaba. So we tried it and it lost. So we'll try it there, try it again, loss. So Alibaba is fading out to the downside. And there's Apple, like, get out when it goes, man. So there's a couple more outs there for Apple. Let's see if it wants to hold for it right now. We already looked at Tesla. We'll look at Google just real quickly. That's bouncing off that 318 level. But I don't know, man. The market trying to make up its mind here. We'll see where it goes from here. But I'm just going to stay long Apple and see if that continues to work.
If 3 minutes till we get this close of this bar on the Nasdaq, which I think is going to be a big one. If we close it green, I think it validates some of the long. The upward wick made me get into the two shorts that I was looking for underneath 210 on AMD. But here's VWAP again. Just want to see a rejection of Open Door at VWAP, which it looks like it's doing. We're going to go to Adara, however, at the desk for the first time today. I think we have no numbers actually.
Chicago PMI soon. I will obviously go back closer to that number at 345. I do want to quickly mention here, we have some news with our friends at AIML. They are expanding their NeuroCloud's AI-enhanced ECG signal processing technology into the global veterinarian elite equine performance markets for the first time ever, with their max yield and cardio yield going to be integrated directly into the Equimetrix V Pro Clinical and then S Pro for performance. Those platforms, this actually strengthens AIML's commercial momentum and positions the company for multi-market growth. See you in like 2 minutes for Chicago PMI.
All right, thank you, Adara, for that.
My bad.
Yeah, definitely. You know, so we're going to go 1 and 1 so far, but Apple obviously is still pending on that one. Let's just go over and check out some AMD action right now. 208 and change. So, you know, that 210 we were thinking could possibly hold does not, though, for right now, and you know, downside potentially here for AMD. And then, you know, back to the other big guy here with Nvidia. They look like they're hovering right around that VWAP as well. So maybe we should just wait to see what the numbers bring us so far. But we do have Chicago PMI, as Adara just did mention. We're expecting 44.3. Here comes Apple. It's going to break, and it just did break back down below that 50 area. So we'll get out there on Apple, basically flat there, but you know, we'll take a loss on that last bit there as it just breaks lower. So yeah, you know, we tried a few of these names that we thought about earlier with Apple and Baba. We wrote down Baba 158 long, but I did actually. Okay, well, now it's coming in. I did actually like that 160 bid there, just, you know, day 2 of earnings. We didn't see it very successful yesterday. Thought there was a chance for it to get going a little bit here on day 2. So let's buy a little bit again, as we wanted that 158, which is the 200 period moving average. So let's put another bid down there, even lower, and see if we can catch a little bit of a falling knife here on Alibaba, and then use 157 or like a 158 break basically as our out there for Alibaba. And if that breaks, then we can get out and take another hit, unfortunately, on Baba and AAL right there. But we're going to go long on that one. Good out, I guess, on Apple, because bye-bye, there it goes. So it's only 30 seconds to go. We'll go back over to Adara, then we'll come back and see what's going on with the PMI.
Chicago PMI here, we are expecting at 9:45 a.m. So again, in like 20 seconds, forecast 43.6, previous 43.8. So we are expecting a slight decline from the previous print. This is for the month of November. Seeing some numbers or some sources suggest we might get new home sales at 10, but kind of unlikely. So this could be the last economic data of the day. Chicago PMI 43.6 expected, 36.3 is the print I'm seeing. So if I get any more info on that, I'll let you know. But it looks like sharply lower here again. 43.6 was the estimate I was seeing. 36.3 does appear to be the print. If I get any more updates on that, I'll let you know. But again, looks like a lower than expected Chicago PMI as the market just keeps pushing higher. We're going to send you back to Neil and Sean. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Right.
Yeah, thank you very much there, Adara. Yeah, well, these oil numbers, not that it seems like no one ever cares about oil anymore. We should get inventories today at 10:30, but that's going to be about it for data. Whoa, big spike up there. Well, maybe it's not that big. There was a big spike for a second there in Apple that I just saw, but I'm still at this VWAP on AMD. We've essentially rinsed back and forth, hasn't broken 210, hasn't gone to 208, where I'm looking to take first fill. Yesterday's highs, well, the afternoon highs are going to be the out for me. And then just add in Open Door. Open Door got to VWAP and is starting to roll back over, but we don't want to completely ignore all of the names you guys are trying to mention in the chat. ASTS is moving. There's a KTTA, which is also making a power move. And of course, Robinhood. We literally started the day with Robinhood, and Robinhood's up 8%. So Robinhood making a big time bounce here. They made a deal with the Miami Exchange. Yeah, I said wait for the first 15 minutes on this, and apparently if you waited for the first 15 minutes, you were stuck chasing at absolute best. So Robinhood aiming for double digits, it seems like, today. Big time day for them. I haven't checked out, like, SoFi's probably having a good day as well, maybe on Sympathy. If it's not, I'd be concerned. And WeBull, of course, another name. We don't know why WeBull is moving, but it's also on the move.
Yeah, I think it's just with Robinhood there. Okay, so right here, we're just going to continue to watch for this market. I'm still in those same names, but the thing about that Tesla, like, again, we did this yesterday where it fell back in. We traded it to the long side and for eventually catching that. And we had wrote down 420 today. So maybe we'll just let these things drip. And then when they break back through is then when we, look to execute against, the levels. So there it goes, man. 423 right back up for Tesla. Tesla went red on the day. So I don't know, but there it goes. Again, now downside for Tesla and now nothing but upside apparently now for that name. But yeah, okay, so there we go. Tesla, bye-bye. All right, Google. Google had that dip down into 318. Same kind of a story, bouncing nicely off of that. Let's check out some names that are just a little bit more runny right now, like an SMR could go. That's only up that 1.23%, not going. Check out some of the quantum names like a Rigetti. See if there's anything going on there at all. No, if anything, red there on Rigetti. You looked a little bit at Open Door there. Nothing's really crossing my wire right now. I was actually going to look at Uber. I thought that there was a decent story today with WeRide opening up. Was it Mumbai or something? Another Dubai maybe. Yeah, it was just another market for them opening. Abu Dhabi, there we go. So another market opening up right there. So there we go. For Uber, but again, like crashed back into $84 again.
No breakout though.
The market is trying to go here. Let's just trade the Qs maybe after all.
The market is so strong right now, so incredible, which is so weird because like I'm looking at AMD under VWAP, I'm looking at Nvidia testing $180 to the downside. I'm looking at Apple underneath the volume weighted average price. What the heck is so strong right now? Is it Microsoft? Nope. Is it Alphabet? Nope. So you guys tell me, why was the Nasdaq just pressing the high of the day? Oh, I have no idea. So again, really no clue. Gonna look for prior day high and just try to stick with target on AMD. So stick with what else? Just go back to regularly scheduled plannings. I didn't check Amazon, so maybe Amazon's having a good morning, but even that wouldn't explain it. Like Amazon's not big enough that they could push the market back into the highs. All right, somebody likes to buy Open Door in the 750s, it seems, obviously. I'm gonna take maybe another leg out here if I can get it. Where am I sitting? 59s, and see if we can't get this VWAP to the low of the day another time in here. So yeah, not sure why we're so strong. Maybe healthcare is strong today. Let's check out Oscar, and I'm sure. Yeah, Oscar wouldn't go yesterday. Like yesterday, everything. Yes. Yesterday was a really good day.
Like that Oscar.
But like the one trade that just didn't really work out was the Oscar long. It wouldn't fall through. You could have longs at one, but it just never followed through in the breakouts. And now it decides to be up 7.5%. Sometimes you look away, and to your own chagrin. Oscar at the 50 period, 200 period to 50 period. It just took 2 days instead of one.
Yeah, that's the fate of Ophelia over there with Oscar.
What?
Oh, you don't know about Taylor Swift? Yeah.
No,
Fate of Ophelia.
Yeah, it's Taylor Swift. It's
really, one of the hottest songs right now.
Aaron hates Taylor Swift. And I don't even know where it comes from. It's not even.
That's too bad.
I didn't do it. She just doesn't like Taylor Swift.
That's crazy. She will very, very soon. Okay, so here we go. 277. So we're just long here on Apple. Like I'm going to take something out if we can get back up to 278 in change. So we'll wait to see if we can get something out right there. Go. See if we can get something there at 95s or so. Yes, there it is. So yes, sir. Okay, battling back, man. Here we go. Let's see if we can get going now on Alibaba. So we just sort of putting it on right now. Like we're trying to see if maybe I don't know if we caught a bottom in any of these names or not, but we're just gonna see where the upside is from here. Start putting some a little bit higher now as we're pretty much making everything back. This is the story of my life, man. It's like, this is what we do every single day. We're rocking until we're not, and then we put it right back on, and here we go again, man. Another out, upside there on Apple. If this market wants to go, this should be a strong name. I'm surprised Apple's not actually going higher than this. So little bit off-putting for Apple. Like I thought it would have even gone even more than where we would have been going, because this market right here, upside, nothing but upside, and it's like, I'm not seeing it in major cap names.
I'm not seeing it anywhere.
Right now, I'm going to find out where it is right now, though, Neil, because it looks like the financials right here is going boom, 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 boom. Not one red name here in the financials today. So there it goes. Nice upside play in financials. Google red, Meta red, CRM red, Cisco down, Broadcom. Some of these names are nicely cooking, but the healthcare space. So this is a space that's been super hot in NASDAQ weakness. But today, with a little bit of strength there in the Nasdaq, as the Nasdaq now up 0.6, you're seeing some pullback here in the space. We talked about how hot Merck's been, and especially Eli Lilly doesn't appear to be going anywhere right now. So Eli Lilly still staying pretty strong. But there's Nvidia. I mean, just the volume coming through here is very, very intense. It looks like anyways on Nvidia. So yeah, just the levels are just back and forth, back and forth. Look at the printing on this. So pretty good there. All right. Yeah. What goes up must come down. I mean, Apple
just when I thought that someone asked why short AMD at 210, because 210 was an over-under level for me. So I said the second I see it failing under 210, I want to be short, and I was willing to flip. As a matter of fact, I was staring it down, looking to see if there's any buyers above 210, but they're just not. There's no buyers forming above $210 yet. If anything, it's rolling back underneath. And the other thing I'm watching too is, because I have to watch Nvidia, Nvidia's starting to fail under VWAP as well. If that loses 180, then I just jump right back over to AMD underneath the 210 level. The other thing we did not get to was Bitcoin 88,000. So 88,000, plot a chart. Come on, you know it's a level. It rejected it. To me, it was a long into 88 yesterday and then a reverse. Not a very obvious parabolic move, but a very gentle, slow grind. If it gets to $50 on IBIT, that's roughly 88,000. I think it's almost exactly 88,000, to be honest with you. And I think that's a fade, but I've paid for locates in BM&R. And Amara are usually the two shorts that I go with. So we're at 87.3. If we get there, we didn't really talk crypto. It's crazy. We have an early start. So we get to you guys at 8 o'clock in the morning so we can get into more things. And we somehow managed not to go over Bitcoin and crypto.
Yeah, we did talk about crypto today. Well, some days it's just hot.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
You talk about what you do, and Robinhood was a bigger story, so you kind of lead with that. But I am looking at that $88,000, $50 on IBIT if we were able to get there. So I'm still in open door. This is the one that just kind of keeps working. It failed under $8. Now it's underneath VWAP. So we'll hold on to this short, maybe look for something else. I'm not really finding anything that I'm in love with because that seller it's not distinct yet. It's a chop fest on AMD, but it's starting to form a couple of rejections on trend. Like if I get a third point here, I'll like it a little bit better instead of just kind of shorting VWAP. Every single time, because it's a very choppy morning. I'll wait for the 15-minute candle bar to close. We got 5 more minutes. I'll stick with open and IBIT, and IBIT, BM&R, and Mara. I just prefer shorting something that'll move more. BM&R and Mara tend to tank more than Bitcoin on a percentage basis. So if I see us reject 50, I want to go there.
Yeah, no, this has been quite a nice little drip down for some of the names that I'm looking at right now as Apple's this is Alibaba, but Apple's also at the lows. Like both these names looking to break lower. There goes Alibaba. We said we'd try 158. That was the level that we liked. So we didn't actually have, we had some 50s and then we just got some O's. So now you're starting to drip down here in Alibaba. So see ya on that trade. That's not going to be right. And then unfortunately, right now, like I said, maybe it's time to look in other spots, not tech, because here we go. Nice downside play happening right now for Apple as well. So downside push happening in these names. Alibaba really broke, so that long is not in right now, that's for sure. Alibaba getting lower. Did Tesla make a move back right now, perhaps? Yeah, so right back into that 420 area one more time. So puff, pass on that one as Apple back into 420 again. Look, we're still waiting for, Tesla. We're still waiting for Apple to try to break through this 50 marker, but I don't know, man. I'm sitting here waiting with an offer to get a little bit out. But yeah, Apple right now, got to give it a little bit of time, I feel like, at these levels. But yeah, it's SoFi, Robinhood. We didn't really look at too much there early. Neil mentioned maybe double digits there. It does pull back a little bit on this market weakness, though. Right back into VWAP. So maybe that's a buy if you don't want to look at tech names. Take a look at Robinhood and then maybe at SoFi as well. Because as one goes, whoa, normally the other one goes. But I take that back as SoFi getting crushed right now to the downside. Looks like the shorts today were the play. Despite the market kind of being right where we opened, right now we are making new lows right now into the open session.
And one more for you.
25,200.
I did say I would look for Urban potentially for a long, but that did not challenge 80. Let the stock open up and do volume. No parabolic buying. Like you saw in the retailers yesterday, all kinds of parabolic buying. It's not happening for Urban Outfitters. It's still up 11%, but not really going. It needed to get above 80, and then I was going to be a little bit more excited for them. So, I mean, Bitcoin said 80,000. What do you mean 80,000? We're not going to 80,000 today, Neil. We're going to turn right here, right now, when you said you wanted to press even higher. Like, I say when it's breaking the highs, then I want to look for it to get to 50. The second it breaks the highs, it instantly fails and breaks the trend. And this is an all-morning trend line. So I'm going to look for a pop and fade, pretty much where I said I would in BMNR or Mara, one of the two. Mara's already broken down pretty heavily, so that'll give me the VWAP trade. And then BMNR, let's just see if we're able to catch this one because it's a little bit tighter to VWAP. So I want to make sure we're holding underneath this volume weighted average price. That KTTA is halted again. This would be 4 halts for anyone trading. I can't even, I'm not going to pronounce that name.
KTTA?
No, the actual name of the company, I have no clue. But this is now 4 halts to the upside on good volume. It's actually 11 million shares worth of volume, so it's seemingly tradable, and it just broke the dollar. So maybe this has some serious legs to it, just being over the dollar break. Again, traded with caution, but it's done 11 million shares. A couple times we'll bring you a symbol like this, and the volume is trash, and I say I would stay away from it. This is actually pretty good.
Okay, you know, you just talked about iBit a little bit there. Coinbase we could look at. You know, we talked about Klarna earlier as well. There today, just wondering like why this name's not going. And then of course today it's up 3%. So there goes Klarna. We said like, you know, possible stronger retail side right now, you know, could be a play there. KLAR. Klarna, and you know, looking at Affirm maybe as well. I mean, look at Lululemon. Let's go, man. That's going to be awesome. Right there, up another 3% for Lulu. So we're in the money now on that trade finally. So good one there for Lululemon as that's trying to you know, battle higher there. I think Walmart is probably set up. It looks like Apple's going to break 277 by the way right now. So that's going to be an out soon after that break. But there's Walmart back up to 108. I was actually thinking the same type of thing when you've hung around on a stock like Walmart for this long, and there goes Apple, this long, and only to make new highs. I think this goes higher. Like I really do. I really like Walmart down here. So there's Apple. Like again, we tried to buy some of these dips, just did not work out today. So maybe try to catch it back on the way back up. I mean, these futures right now are bleeding down to the downside. If anything, being underneath VWAP right now for the futures is a problem. So there we go. It's still dripping lower and lower and lower. So I don't want this market to turn red, do we? We still have this. Well, we're still above 25,000, so we were talking about that as a key level for a while. Now we open the day above it, so let's wait to see what winds up happening there with Apple. Maybe, sorry, with the Nasdaq. We have new home sales coming.
Maybe we are getting that number. Yeah, we've just heard in our ears that potentially, we don't know if we're getting the new home. We don't know if we're getting that number. That being said, if it does happen now, I got to be watching out for Open Door with that number. Let's go to Adara for happening now.
I have not seen a number, nor if I see anything, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, it's not showing up on this trading economics one. If I see anything, I'll keep you guys posted. But a lot of the sources I was looking at didn't have it anyway, so it was always kind of a question mark, and that has kind of been the case a little bit too. With regards, or I guess since what happened with the economic shutdown impacting the data. Interesting look here for the S&P 500. Big green candle to start the day in the 15-minute candle, even larger red candle to follow it up there. Let's take a look here at the Nasdaq, which is just continuing to push a little bit lower again. We did have some economic data this morning. Chicago PMI coming out quite a bit lower than expected, and we had some initial jobless claims this morning too. Google on watch here once again, along with Nvidia, GOOGL. We know that these TPUs from Google have been in the spotlight even more since we had reports from the information suggesting that Meta was in talks for a Google TPU deal. Right now, we actually have some analysts saying that Google could be taking over here for over Nvidia, though again, Google also more cost effective, and Nvidia, as the company said themselves, has been in the game for a lot longer, and they're generational in terms of what they can do. Let's talk Dell, one of many earnings names on watch today, including ADSK, HPQ, DE, and Li Auto. Dell reporting mixed earnings for the quarter. Sales missed, but EPS beat. Q4 guidance, though, better than expected. Before we send you back to Sean and Neil, we'll take a moment to thank our friends at Origenics, OGEN. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there is still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Origenics, OGEN, is changing that with its first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more. Schedule a meeting today. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Adara.
Thank you, Adara. And of course, we don't get that number. See, I was with Adara. It was another source I checked, and we weren't necessarily expecting that new home sales. But you got to pay attention just in case you get a bit of a surprise. So Opendoor didn't do anything, thankfully. But we got BMNR at 63 as a price. I want to see, it's 30, that's the big level. I mean, obviously you can tell on BMNR, it held 30 in the afternoon. Don't need that trend line anymore. So it held 30 in the afternoon, so I want to maintain the short into 29 at least. Open's still looking the same, but you're catching a bid here in Nvidia. So with that heading back up to retest 180, I'm kind of bring myself back over to AMD. Will it fail that 210 level again? So if it fails 210 and maintains this bit of a downward, it's kind of a downward trend, a couple of points here, then I think it can be a re-enter of the short. But it plays both directions, right? Like if we break out from here, like take out this 210, break this trend line, got to be willing to go both directions. So right now I'm kind of staring down AMD. If we can break out that 210, break this little trend line, I want to go long. If it fails it, under VWAP, I look for the shorts, as we are going to talk about something important, Sean.
Yeah, we have AIML, because your heart will beat 100,000 times today. And every beat, of course, is a data point. AIML Innovations listed on the CSE as AIML. And if you're talking about OTC markets, it's AIMLF. This turns the data into potentially life-saving insights with a max yield, an AI engine that filters noise, labels each heartbeat, and with lab-grade precision, and shrinks ECG analysis from days to minutes. Their mission, of course, to revolutionize how heart disease is detected, monitored, and prevented. I want you to go to AIML.health and follow AIML_innovation over on something called X. So go check those out, guys. AIML, of course, right now. So, all right, you know, just trying to like look at these low ticks here, just not only on the futures, but also on Apple. Like they were so strong. We heard that report them about, you know, taking back the market share. I don't, you know, we're just long here at 277, trying to see if we can somehow hold some of these lows. And I'm not trying to be stubborn with the stock. It's like, it's down into this area. So we were too long early for sure, but that's fine. I mean, that happens all the time. We had written down 276. So we're not even really like into the lows that we were sort of thinking about previously. So here we come back in for Apple. You know, basically, let's just see if it wants to hold in and around these lows. And then we'll look at that 276 area, which was the one that we had in our mind in the first place. So, but right now, definitely not holding out here is Apple. And if anything, it's trying to go the other way all day with no real bumps, right? We had a little bit early. It started to go again right there. And right now we resume regularly scheduled programming on the downside. So the strong names today, we saw Robinhood, that was upside. They're still holding above VWAP, but trying to hover right now around said VWAP there. And then another strong name today was Klarna, so we can check back on maybe Affirm as some of those names go. And then of course, Affirm down. And then WeBull.
WeBull caught a bit.
Yeah, a little bit there. Yeah, WeBull down, basically down from open, but yeah, like, you know, caught a bit around that 9-10 area, but still doing this. So not a whole heck of a lot happening here for WeBull at the moment. But okay, let's go back over. Is that Randy? Did Randy just say if we wanted a coffee? Sure, Randy, we'll take a coffee. Might as well. Thanks, Randy, for thanks. What? Well, look, Randy, yesterday I tried to have you host, and we saw how disastrous that went. They didn't even, because they didn't have my mic hooked up there. It was a disaster yesterday. So, yeah, no, for us it was fine. For us it was fine. Yes, sir, coffee would be great. All right, Adara back at the desk.
Yeah, take a look here, guys, at Roblox, RBLX. I do have a note coming here from Barron's calling this one a long idea, saying that Roblox, quote, isn't playing games, that the stock could actually jump 50%. So Barron's here saying that Roblox could jump 50%. Good look here, RBLX. We send you back to Sean and Neil.
I mean, there is some at least strength in the market because
Roblox could go.
We're not seeing what we want to. If you're looking bullish side on the Nasdaq, The second 15-minute candle is currently rejecting the volume weighted average price after we rejected the overnight high break. So, still looking pretty weak, although I was mentioning, AMD is really testing that trend line. It's not 3 points, it's only a couple. So it doesn't really confirm a huge trend. It's not like I said, it's not like to me, an A trend gives me on a 3-minute or 15-minute, at least 3 points of contact. Really, it's just trying to break that one. But if it's above 210, that was my over-under level. So I will look for a reversal on AMD. It just can't seem to make up its mind. It gets to 210, kind of rejects, still no real strength. BM&R was still in that one. I'll quickly show you here. And it was a good suggestion in the chat, which I will try to do my best. Our charts just auto-scale. If I auto-scale it, when I open a new chart, it actually has everything to the right. But I'll try to leave a gap so you can see a little bit better. It just makes a lot of sense. But I'm still in BM&R underneath the volume weighted average price, and Open Door is still trending down, at least for now. So AMD trying to catch a bid, as Nvidia is also trying to challenge the 180 level. If they can both go green, maybe that's what gets this Nasdaq through the volume weighted average price. And when I say green, I just mean since the open. Obviously, AMD is up 2% today.
Yeah, we're finally starting to get it. It's been obviously a rough day for us here, but we will just continue to monitor trades and see if we can pick some up. And right here, there goes Apple, right here to the upside as well. So finally, trying to catch a little bit of a bid. But remember, I'm still thinking that, VWAP, I'm thinking higher than VWAP, but that would be basically $1. Not basically, it'd be 80 cents. But, if we can get some more out, we'll put a little bit of a trade there. And right now it's even pulling back in, so I don't know. But 277, 60s, let's go to 50 again there and see if we can get something out one more time at 50s. Maybe that'll happen. And then we'll start looking over here, 70s and here it comes, 70s and whatnot for Apple. And then we'll just let the rest ride, man. And hopefully we can get back to some of that upside love now for Apple, buying those dips. We're now 60 cents in the money and making a little bit back there. Yeah, I see some people in the chat, Oscar. Look, man, I pulled the trigger on this at 14.75. And I remember that price exactly because it was a nice even dollar fill. And it wasn't the even penny fill. It wasn't the exact lows. It was not even close to that. It was just looking at basically a break in and around here. So that's why we looked at that price. But there it was right there. That's 14.75. So that break right there back to the upside for Oscar gets us in. So we'll wait to see if that's part of the play there. Oscar, nice move up to $18 again, trying to get going. So that's going to be a good one. In my longer term portfolio, I really do believe in Oscar and that company. But here we go, upside again. We just missed, that was 72 is where we went to. I'm at 75. So we'll stay there for Apple. Maybe we get that 75 fill eventually. But right now, it's Apple's world for me because it's the only name I'm in. So we continue to watch out for that. Come on, let's go, man. I'm at 75s. Do we switch it a little bit there? Well, we just bounced off of 60s. We can go, let's go into the 60s there. Let's go high 50s, see if we can get a piece out, and then we'll put that back into the 70s. Split up our order just to catch some liquidity in case it does that bounce around again. So we have too many shares just to be messing around with this. And I'm actually starting to think maybe of getting some more out, getting almost all of it out right now. Nice aggressive move up. As it's been a bath, man. We both, well, whatever. It took a little bit of a bloodbath there on Apple. So now we'll wait to see where it goes from here. But yeah, P&L wise today, Apple not the gem that I thought it would be. And then Alibaba, we tried to catch that. Alibaba's actually is fine. We didn't do too much work on this. We thought that 158 would be a good long, so that was the test there. That came in and broke. We actually made a little bit of money early on Alibaba, and then even there again, but then it broke. So buy 158, 50s, then break. So down on Alibaba and trying to make a little bit back here on Apple. Let's see where it goes.
And speaking of trying to get back, AMD tried to get back above 211. It rejected it. So we had the punch at 10s, actually got underneath 10s, but it only got to the opening range high and rejected. It's the exact same thing that Google did on a almost identical setup yesterday. No need to go over it, but it was this early trend break that held VWAP, got to first resistance and failed. And when it broke back under, I didn't reverse. So if we break back under VWAP, I will be willing to reverse this one. So as far as I'm concerned, it needs to now start holding above 211, make some higher lows to join back in on the trend line. As AMD, it's strong. This is where this is where the chips had been leading. But Nvidia, as I pull over Nvidia so you guys can see, like Nvidia gets to VWAP and is starting to fail. And I just don't see one going without the other. They've been moving lockstep. So I want to see this get through VWAP, or at least show me some higher lows that we can dig into on advanced micro devices. Thank you very much, Randy. Appreciate it. Ashik in the chat just said, where is SMR going? Hopefully higher, but it's not right now. It's at the low of the day. So all I can tell you is, well, if it doesn't break the low, there's only one place it can go, but it's at the low attempting to break. And the low a couple of days ago was about 17 bucks. So I would say if you lose the bottom, all you got for support is 17 here on SMR, as it's starting to look very, very nasty for them. There's a big time level, I think at 13 bucks on this stock, because that's where I was buying. It was like $13 on SMR if it loses this 17. Thank you for the super chat. Dell and Baba, any analysis? I know Sean is looking at Alibaba. I've not looked at Dell. I don't like Dell because the margins aren't that good enough. I mean, it's fine. I mean, they're better than SMCI, right? They have better margins than SMCI, more profitable. But this is one bouncing off the 200 that doesn't really get me jazzed up whatsoever. That said, let's be real. They just reported, and if you are looking at them, they are probably the best in their particular space. And that's a solid rounded bottom breakout. Problem you got going is, where's the follow through? A solid breakout through 129. Right back in. It's going to hold out here, but until you start making higher highs, seems like the profit takers came into this one pretty quick. Just like everything else, nothing's really sustaining that bounce to take the next level to the upside. Until that happens, I can't be bullish, and I put a pass on them. You know, the only time I speak positively is if you're comparing them to SMCI. Anytime someone wants to buy SMCI, I'm like, oh, you should probably just buy Dell instead.
I mean, someone's got to get the servers for all
low
of
margin
these GPUs. Wow. Okay, guys, here we go, man. It's Lululemon time, baby. You guys have been, we've been on this name for a minute, and I buying this name in the mid 160s, and finally starting to go back up to the upside here as Christmas time is upon us, and hopefully Lululemon gets some sales popping off through then, and there it goes, man. And their report is next week. I could see Lululemon making that 15 or 20% move higher next week on earnings. I mean, we just seen Urban Outfitters, AEO, ANF, all these names starting to blast higher there on retail, and obviously they're getting some love in this space as well, and that's because of nothing that they've done. So we just wait, and I think if you're getting excited about this name and you do have like a larger position on Lululemon, this might be a good spot to trim, especially if you've been dip buying where we've been saying down into here, because, again, they could really put up a stinker, and then all of a sudden you're way back in, and if not a lot lower. So that's why I'm saying, depending on the size of your position, you may want to look here at Lululemon, even today up another 3%. So it's cooking right now though. So get an offer, take advantage of the liquidity, and maybe step out here on Lulu just a little bit. I'm going to take this 40, some out at 40 anyways, as I'm waiting at 58s still, which is where this 200 period is, and it's just, 50 period, and it's just not coming in right now. So we have 50 period is purple right now. We all trying to use the same indicators as far as coloring goes. So this pink is 50 period, green is the 200, and this bluish, purplish, I'm not sure how it shows up on your screens over there, but that is VWAP. And then I have a 21 period moving average that I'm just kind of like messing around with to see if that does anything. So that's what I'm looking at there.
I only have VWAP on mine though.
Okay, and then there's a good out, but the VWAP, of course, will be that bluish color on yours, I guess, as well. So there it is, man, 277.40 as we go.
I just have the default. The default's red on VWAP.
Well, Brendan wants us to change them all to the same. So it's more universal. But anyways, we do get questions about that. So there we go. But all right, what's going down now? The market
Open just hit the low. Well, not the market. Open Door just hit the low of the day. I'm not going to flush the market when it's up a third and it's still a VWAP in here. But Open was waiting for the next fill at the low. So we were able to get that. Now we'll look for a refill. I thought we might get this consolidation again at 70s. Like sometimes you just rather join sellers than sell at a line in a chart. So in this particular case, it happened to be right around and just above VWAP. But this time it rejected the volume weighted average price. Opens under $8, which I like. Meta just spiked higher. Someone's saying, well, forget about Meta for a second.
Yeah.
because AMD just held that 210 a second time. So it does not reverse. I said I was willing to reverse if it broke that trend, but it's holding the trend line here on AMD. So come on, close this, holding 210 so this doesn't end up back in the short. I always prefer stocks to go up as opposed to down, and this is absolutely challenging this trend line. But it's not giving me a reason to get back in. There's a clean, distinct, you could see the buying really stepping into this when it broke through VWAP the first time. I'm not seeing the same thing as it retests that trend. But what I do like about this comment on Meta here is Meta is showing strength. Meta is starting to break out. You need a couple of these names to do it. If Nvidia is not going to get through VWAP, I don't know if Apple is Apple through VWAP yet?
No, Apple's down.
If it's not going to, then Meta going green can be something that
Apple
can
ain't doing
possibly
much.
take the market a little bit higher. So yeah, I'm looking for something to get us to the upside, but I'm still sticking with AMD as a trade. The trade I'm looking for next. Hopefully that didn't break.
No, I'd hope it wouldn't as well. And Nvidia, like, oh man, it got to that 182. Now it's underneath 178. I mean, I wrote down, well, it's underneath 180, sorry. Looking at 178 now for NVDA. I don't know, like, that's the 200 period. It's held it all morning here. And, well, not all morning, it only came once, but that would be something there. 178 are those bottom wicks right now. But it's pretty like, I don't know, like, it's pretty like stink face at this market right now. It's not doing like a whole hell of a lot right now. If anything, the pressure seems lower. So, that kind of sucks for right now. Looking at IBIT is 87,000. So, again, like, all right, just bouncing between the 200 now and VWAP and back and forth and highs and lows there for IBIT. So, you know, you're looking at ETHA and Bitminer there, BMNR, you know, another look coming through here. If anything, looks like Ethereum is going to be a little bit stronger than BTC. So that's looking like it wants to go back up to the upside. I mean, I'm just trying to check out Oracle. I mean, congratulations, bang, bang.
Oh my God.
On Oracle, as that's now broken through 200. And this is the one name that I was like really looking at pretty hard there and just was not confident in like the market reloading itself, because this name right there back in, we just seen some levels right there that when we got that sort of blowout bottom there at 180, you know, if Oracle could come back to 190, and we were just there yesterday, so it's not, I wasn't looking hard at it for a long time, but just this is a decent level on a monster name that serves a purpose. You know, like I said, if we're still in the early season of data and these build-outs, these data center build-outs and AI, and I don't think we're early in it, but Oracle getting hit on the spend, and just like Meta has been as well, and you saw
I think we're early.
The difference there between Meta and Oracle. I mean, Oracle not really getting the bounce that Meta's getting, but you know, like we keep talking about, Meta versus Oracle, a little different story, but it's about the spend there. And right here, JP Morgan only up now 1% on the day. My Alibaba is still hovering around the level that I talked about, 158. So this is giving me some kind of feels as well of a possible long if the market gets going here on Alibaba. So we are going to be red on that stock today, but you know, well within the pocket and well spotted if we break higher. I mean, what about a 158.50 long on that? Like, we could look back here and Alibaba's back up to, you know, 160, 162 again, real quick. So let's wait to see if that can break. 158.50 maybe here for Alibaba, not horrible if we break to the long side. Maybe we get Apple, man. Maybe we get Apple. I don't know. I'm still waiting at 58. Let's see if we can grab that trade. Hopefully the answer to that one is resounding yes. All right, I did hear a call for Adara. Andre? Yes, he says. So let's go over to Adara.
Small cap time, though, at least one of these is actually not necessarily the smallest of market caps. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's start, though, with Petco Health and Wellness, which is a small cap, just over $1 billion market cap. And they had earnings today, guys. Posted a surprise profit, even though sales did miss estimates. Not Petco. The P is not in the ticker. The company's Petco ticker is WOOF or WOOF. WOOF does have a short float here of 13%. Let's talk about SciSpark, SPRC, by far the smallest market cap of this group today. $5 million market cap, roughly 1.6 million share float. And they're going to be acquiring a treasury of patents for innovative medical endoscopy systems. Last but not least, this is the one that's not really a small cap here, Urban Outfitters, URBN, market cap around $7 billion, just below that. They did have a double beat today in earnings, and I think they're going to be interesting to watch, guys, too, because if you didn't know, they have a 17% short float. So URBN, WOOF, and SPRC on watch today. But before we send you back, I found something crazy. I'm digging into exchanges, and I stumbled across BTCC. Top 30 globally. But here's the wild part, BTCC has never been hacked. While major exchanges keep getting wrecked, BTCC stays untouched. Zero KYC if you're in the US, Canada, or Europe. And through Trader TV, you get 100 USDT coupons for registering, plus a 15% bonus thing that covers losses up to 15K USDT. Seriously, what am I missing here? Scan that QR code for more info. Back to you.
Oh my God, scan that QR code immediately, guys.
Okay.
What are you even doing not scanning that QR code at this point?
That wake you up right quick.
Hello.
Urban's trying to break that 80, by the way. The other thing that's also happening is apparently Beyond Meat decides that it doesn't want to be a penny stock anymore. So every time it does this, I pay for locates to look for the trend. I'm not shorting a dollar. I'm not going to short a dollar. I'm also going to not sneeze right now. But I'm looking for 105 or 110. Like some of these highs is what I would look for on Beyond Meat. Up 18% for no apparent reason. It doesn't have to have a reason. They're going out of whatever. I shouldn't say they're going out of business. They could always restructure. It could work out for them. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I hope everything.
I wish them the best.
Yeah, I hope everything works out over there. We wish everybody the best at all times, and happy Thanksgiving to all. But we hit this because this means new position. So I'm into Tesla right now. Let's see. You know, we made this kind of a trade yesterday, and it absolutely skyrocketed, but we had to have the market with us. But this is well within the risk now of these lows potentially holding. I don't know if they're going to. We just got another piece out right here on Apple. By the way, we get our 58s on Apple, but I took some 40s, 50s, and then 58s. So we just lowered the amount we got at 58, which sucks because we would have got them anyways. So we're going to look to see if VWAP can break. But for right now, it's Tesla. I am willing to buy some more 417s down here because we don't have a completely full position yet. And we want to get closer to the lows before we put on anything, you know, completely serious here. So we have about half a unit or so on Tesla right now, but well looking for that 420 again. So I think that the risk to reward here is about 1-to-1 up to 420, because if we break this 417, then that will get us, you know, kind of where we're thinking as a stop. So we'll wait to see on Tesla right now. Look, I mean, it could go $1 or whatever. We'll take one piece out at 419.50 because that's the 50 period, and then we'll try to hold the majority for 420.50. So that's the play right now, but it's not looking like we're close to any of those levels. But $1 higher is the first target spot there for Tesla.
Whatever you might be trading, be it AMD, be it Tesla, being Oscar, which is flying, you want to have enough capital. Why? Because if you don't have enough, then it might not feel like your trades are worthwhile. And Trade the Pool is transforming how stock traders can access the markets. Because with the limited risk trading model, you use funded capital. That allows Trade the Pool to absorb the downside. You get to focus on what matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. And right now, everybody, Trade the Pool's Black Friday deal is on, and you get 15% off on all evaluation accounts automatically at checkout. So when you hit the profit target, keep 70% of the profits. No fear, no barriers, just real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading, powered by Trade the Pool. Visit tradethepool.com. or scan the QR code in front of you to get a discount. Shout out to them. And, we got a super chat in there I just saw. And you mentioned trendline. I'm literally staring down a trendline break on AMD. Can we throw up, thank you very much, because I don't want to move off it. Apple broke the 3-minute trend with hitting VWAP.
Broke it?
Broke the 3-minute trend with hitting. Yeah,
definitely broke trends.
So it broke trend while at VWAP. Okay, let me see what you're saying here. It's not at VWAP, but it is breaking the trend line. So yeah, that is a trend break, but I'm looking at AMD right now. That is 100%, that is a trend break. But AMD is holding on to this trend without breaking down. Whoops, so now I had to redraw that line. You got to save it every time, Neil. That's so annoying. But this is holding the trend line, which I do like to the upside. We're just in the long the last time through, and this is attempted to close underneath. It broke, but didn't close underneath. So it might have trapped some people short, and if it can close back above, then I remain bullish on AMD, at least in the temporary. Is this finding its way? Stronger than Nvidia, 3% or 2.5 to 1.2%, so this one's gonna stay in my focus at least for now.
All right. What's up, Joe? Hope you're doing well over there, my guy. There goes Tesla. So, you know, we interrupted with this. And then now it goes, man. There's 420 coming into play again for Tesla. So we're happy with that one, man. We got to say, I told you, you are a mini me, Joe. So Joe has the exact same entry as me, but pretty much. So, Joe, man. Chill on that one, man. Leave the trades for me, my guy. But there we go, man. Neil, it is $1.70 now in the money as we go. Here we go, baby. It's Tesla time. Right there to the upside goes Tesla. So not just getting excited during ad reads here, getting excited during trading as well as Apple right back up to 277. So we've almost got $1, 278. Sorry, we're long at 277. We've almost got $1 here, and we just got some more out at 278. So it's a nice little rebound. But, you know, the reason why we're getting out, the market also hitting VWAP right now. So now that I see that, you know, let's put another, okay, I'm just going to punch a little lower there. We just punched out a little bit more of Apple there. I'm still sitting at 85 as well. So we'll punch out some 75s, wait for some more 85s. And then honestly, like, we only got out of 20% here. I'm going to get out of another 10%. We'll get out of a third. There we go. We'll get out of 30% of Tesla right now, and just wait for it because the market just hit VWAP. We want to take advantage of that move, and you know we'll put on these trades for you back and forth. As I was saying, obviously it hasn't been a great day so far, but you guys want to be able to make your own calls. You know, like if 420 was your out right there, and why not? I mean, 420's been a great level that we've seen, you know, and it's traded a lot more, obviously in the last week and a half, a lot under 20 rather than over. So depending on, again, your trade style, like that's that and that. So now I'm just waiting to see if it can extend up, but not a horrible out there where we are right now, which we're at 420. So if you're excited for this long and you're in it with me, congratulations, first of all. It's going to be the big, I think so far the biggest trade, obviously, for me here. But we'll wait on a breakout now. But if this is a level for anybody else out there, and we don't give financial advice, we just give trades that we're in, that's just a key level there at 420, and wouldn't surprise me if we fall off of that. So, you know, good look there at the lows. But decent out there at 420 as well. So far, so good there, but everyone's in this. All right, so yeah, you guys are in this with me, so let's go upside on Tesla. Hope some of you are in Open Door and BMNR as well, because those stocks moving around today. But that's what I'm looking at, and just hoping that Apple is where I have all my shares right now. Apple trying to go, and we've done really well getting out of Apple, but we had to chase it for a couple minutes in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, the BMNR is actually oddly enough just like the market. Fail break of the high, holding underneath 30. I'm still, look, I'll scalp it underneath, but I'm holding the second half of the trade for 29. And all it's done, it's given me the low once. I did not reload. Now we're just trying to get the breakthrough of the low. I want the same range that we traveled in the afternoon yesterday. And Open Door, look, Open Door, I haven't had a reload in a bit. And we got it at VWAP finally. So I was trading it at the open, unintended, on the first bounce. First time was able to get VWAP again. If it breaks out above volume weighted average price, I'll just jump out of it. Again, looking for the low of the day. It's been trending down, so it has been holding pretty well. But look, if you're not paying attention to Alphabet, what we've been seeing is Alphabet drops, Nvidia, AMD go up. So Alphabet just broke the low of the day. Well, it broke the low of the day a couple of minutes ago, and it's trying to bounce back through yesterday's and the open range lows. So if this catches a bid, it does lead me. I said if that catches a bid, then I think these other two, meaning AMD and Nvidia, can head back into the downside. And this is trying to break trend. It just does not want to do it. So simultaneously, Google at lows, Nvidia underneath 180, AMD trying to break that trend line. So if I don't get into Beyond Meat cratering, I still feel as if the AMD trend break, which has not happened yet, is going to be my next trading opportunity. I believe we just got crude oil numbers, although I didn't hear them in my ear. I saw Darwin just put them in the chat. If you happen to be trading some energy. I'm not really, it's been a minute since I think the inventory numbers have been too big of a deal, but in a general sense, I actually do really like energy here. Considering picking up more. I have Chevron and Enbridge pretty much, but Chevron's a name that I'm looking to add to. Just haven't quite pulled the trigger. I want to see a few things on its daily chart, which we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, AMD is going to be the next trade for me. Urban Outfitters, unfortunately, did not do enough to warrant the long today, like the rest of those. Obviously, banger longs that you would have seen in Abercrombie, and it was KSS. So no trades there for me, unfortunately. Oh, there goes open. So the third time, technically it's a second trade, but really like that's one entry, in my opinion, one entry to the low, and then another one in here to get out. But then the third time it ran VWAP. But it hasn't closed above VWAP, so I can always jump back into the trade if I happen to like it. Open Door has been good for off this level for a couple of times. So I'll give it a chance to shake out and close back under, and then I'll jump back in the trade. But I'm always going to adhere to my stops. That way you manage those losses, stay disciplined, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, without losses, you're definitely not disciplined. So you got to stay in those. But here we go, man. Talk about discipline. Now it's $2, Joseph. Yeah, great minds think alike. That one, Joseph. So nice move higher. I don't know if you're out or not, but here we go. Right into VWAP. So we do take an out there. So again, another out there on Tesla. I still have, how many shares do we have? About 2/3 left. Let's call it 60% left there on Tesla. Because those were good. Like we talked about that being an out, then that being an out, then we got a little sloppy in there and took too many outs. But basically each one of these about 10%, right? With a little bit more there than inside here. So, that's just what we're trying to do. Hold for a little bit longer. Try to do like 10% outs every once in a while on these plays. I'm still looking at Alibaba breaking that 158.50. It just almost broke. Like it almost broke. Like I was going to go long on that break, so it's kind of good that that didn't happen right there because now we would be outside. So we'll refresh and relook at that because that came really close. Looks like it might have been the short. I don't want to just be caught with rose-colored glasses, only looking one way on some of these names. So yeah, we'll cancel that trade, but that is not a horrible spot to go long, I think, on Alibaba. I mean, it's, good bottom. We had written down 158 as the long, and right now you have sort of, some sort of confluence there between the 21 period and the 50 period. So we do have something there in Alibaba as a potential long candidate down at 158. So we can retry that long if it does come in, but catching them on, as we keep saying, like as a knife is very, very difficult sometimes and hard to withstand some of the hits you can get when you do things like that. So we'll wait for it. Alibaba on the lookout there at 158.50. Looks like it's going to go. I'll probably look back and think I should take that. Tesla's really starting to go now, so that's going to be a good one. If you're talking about a VWAP break at any time, there's Palantir, 165. I'm still waiting for 175. I'm going to put an offer out here just in case it happens intraday or something, but 175, that'd be great if that happens today. I want to get some more out of my Palantir position. If we can, at 175. So there it is, breaking higher right now through VWAP, through the 200 period moving average. And maybe if I don't look at Tesla, it will continue to go higher. Too bad I'm looking. Right now it's 421. So let's get another piece out right there. We get a 421 out. So there goes Tesla, booming back up to the upside. And this is exactly what we said we would do. Even when this was coming in, thank you, Joe. Even as this was coming in, it was a stock that we talked about. I said the stop is at that 417. So that's $1.35 with a stop, and now almost $3 in the money. So 2.5 to 1 at this level, and we just got out of another. That was about 5% or so. So we have about 55% left on this Tesla trade, and it's cooking right now. So let's see how far we can go upside on Tesla. And then Apple would be really nice to join this party as well. So far, so good here as the market breaking higher.
Yeah, market's breaking higher. We just broke through the high, almost broke through the high of the day here on AMD. I'm not taking a high break. It has to close the candle above the high or give me the trend break and we get in. Beyond me, we have looked at, I see you in the chat, Gmo and a few other people mentioning this name. I get it, it's moving, but it just lost the $1 level. I was thinking a little bit closer to 105 would be a top, or maybe even 110. But if it wants to fail here, that is also fair enough. I don't care about VWAP on a stock like this because I think the $1 level is going to matter a heck of a lot more. If it closes a 3-minute under 1 minute, then I'll take a shot where it lies. Otherwise, I wait for $1.10. I paid for locates. They were obviously very cheap here at Real Trading, so not everybody can short this name. I understand that. But more or less, almost every single name is going to be free shorts for us. So the only other name that I have not traded that was part of the plan was going to be Urban Outfitters. And Urban, unlike the other retail names yesterday, has not really broken out. But it was $80 that needed to break. When I said it wasn't getting close, it actually got to 79. Just no breakout yet. I still believe that if you get the high break here, it can go. It just hasn't wanted to do it at any point, and yeah, that's the over/under for me. I'm not shorting this in front of it. I'm only looking one direction on Urban. If it's not a squeeze, then I'm not interested in that retail name. So it's beyond me. Just sticking with the plan of action, looking for a possible every single time this tries to hold underneath the trend line. It just does not break down on AMD. So again, patience, right? Like allow it to set up. I don't want to just short into this thing on the way up and then have to hold it against me. I want this to show me it's made a top, breaks trend, and then get in. Now that's part of being a little bit patient with it here on Advanced Market Devices. And yes, Mike Peter Ryder, Hood is absolutely on the move. Good story today with them making a deal with the Miami Exchange, picking up 90% of their derivative business, MIX was up a little bit, Hood up a lot, but can't get through the morning highs. Your best bet was literally 930 something. I think you could have taken out at the top.
All right, new position alert, and it was just a small one. And it's because I was like, I'm not super convinced of this, but there's a new position alert. It's Alibaba. We did talk about taking that 158.50, so let's see. I'm going to protect it down into 158. So if we do come back in, I do want to go long on the level that we had put on the note. So 158 long there for Alibaba, and then just a quick out happening for Apple. It's almost going to be what's for lunch. This day's gone by quite fast here so far. So thank everybody for watching and paying attention to what we're doing here, and for absolutely for free. And if you guys are joining us late, thank you for joining us. But remember, we are now starting at 8 o'clock now. So I need you guys to start hitting the like button. We have Kevin O'Leary coming on next week as well. So that should be a lot of fun for everybody. Here's the stream right here. And only 934 Monday, right? Likes. I believe it's Monday, yeah. So get those likes going now. Only 7,700 watching. So a little light on the watch right now. But let's get that going. If one of every 10 of you can hit that like button, we get to 1.5. So let's get that at least above 1,000 here, whether or not you're winning or losing today. I know it's been a losing day on the desk, but hopefully you guys can continue to keep pumping it up for us, man, and get us some names in the chat and let us know what you guys are looking at. That is for sure. There's John Deere right there. So this is the one that's standing out to me. They're taking like a 1.2 billion pre-tax tariff hit. So that's not a great look for John Deere as they've come back in just a little bit there today. So maybe some work to be done on that chart at some point, and maybe we can look at it right after I'm done this. But this is sort of where the red is today. And I mean, it's a good day so far for the Nasdaq, but like if Google ever turned itself around, I mean, again, yesterday's darling, it's sort of changing around. We've seen Oracle get beat up. Now they're up 5%. Microsoft similarly. People asking us when moon Microsoft. Well, up 1.5 today. So that could be it. ServiceNow still down. CRM can't get out of its own way. Palo Alto down. CrowdStrike down. Like Fortinet down. Datadog down. All these names down on Zscaler weakness. So, there is some strength in the market. You just got to find it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's in major cap names. I mean, obviously, we've got Tesla for the ride. That's $2 plus in the money now. Apple was $1, but now just 30 cents. And then Google, which we just indicated for you, like what? There's 318 bouncing again. And this was the level from yesterday. So, if there's going to be some sort of a hold on this, it basically has to happen right now. So it looks like it's trying to do that. We would have got stopped out. I don't want to say wicked out, but we would have got stopped out trying to hold against 317, and then I'd be mad when it went to 319. So let's just be a little more patient with Google, especially if this market falls down. We're already long Tesla, Baba, and Apple. So I don't think we need to be long Google right now. I think the market feels weak to me in and around here. Maybe a short on the TQs, but that means I got to get out of my Apple and everything. So we have to make a decision at some point coming up whether we like the long or the short to mesh with what positions we currently have on. A little bit of a dip down in Tesla. We'll take advantage and see if we can get a 420 print now, but here comes the market coming back in. These stocks, man, they go down so quickly and it takes a minute to go back up. So let's be careful with what we're doing here position-wise.
And oh, here we go. Breaking news. Oracle shares jump as analysts argue bearish fears are overdone. Also hit the like and subscribe. Oh, so the analysts that were all over Oracle before are like, no, you can't go down forever. You've got to go up. Oh, of course, they rejected the 200 period almost exactly. Obviously, it would go exactly to the 200 period moving average, catch a right turn or a U-turn this morning. This needs to break 210. That's obvious. There's better names out there, I think, than Oracle. But, you know, for a relief rally, if that gets through 210, I think that's fantastic. I don't know how much, like, really? Like, the analysts that love... Anyways, fair enough. Like, there's legitimate concerns with, you know, everything is about OpenAI for them. So I don't see how you can't be a little bit skeptical, right, for a company that's not public and isn't really generating profits just yet. But I did wait, before we go to Adara, I was waiting for the trend line to break. We finally closed holding underneath the trend line in AMD, so I entered at about 212. It just pulled into the half dollar, immediately found some buyers, and now looking for the volume weighted average price as we go to Adara at the desk.
Yeah. Yeah, let's take a look here at this sector board, which is actually mostly light green with some notable exceptions. Electronic technology and tech services looking distinctly different from one another. Lots of strength in electronic tech, but tech services struggling amid some weakness in names like CRM, ServiceNow, and Google. Now, if you go to finance, that sector is still doing well. Retail trade, with the exception of Amazon, doing well. Utility strong. Transportation strong, consumer services strong. Producer manufacturing, with the notable exception of day one earnings play John Deere, also strong. Now, weakness is going to be found here in health technology. Eli Lilly, AbbVie, et cetera, to the downside. The sector's been strong in the last couple of days, but it looks like we're getting a mini rotation here away from some of these health names, or maybe some profit taking. Back to you.
Down. Some people think Deere is a good canary in the coal mine. I don't, like, I'll be honest with you, like, and this is the second time I thought it in the pre-market and didn't say it out loud because I wasn't going to sell any Caterpillar, but I'm starting to think it a little bit more because Deere's not bouncing. It's just like, why not trim some? This Caterpillar is a pretty big holding for me. And when I see what's going on, look, they're not the same thing, but I mean, what the heck, Deere? Holding the lows, right? Like, where is the bounce? It tried to bounce and completely reversed it. So I don't know if I like that. I mean, it's not about I don't know if I like that. I don't like that, to be honest with you. I just flat out don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like it one day. So I'll consider trimming is the word I'm looking for, some Caterpillar in and around lunchtime. So AMD goes to first, I guess, support, which would be at the 211.5 and is already starting to bounce. I had high the day is my out, but once it makes a breakdown of at least one level, I kind of move it to the prior bar high, which is really tough to see because my executions are now completely blocking it, but it's just above the two. It's not really break even, but it's just above that at the $0.25 level. Because this is still a stock in an uptrend. Even though it's a trend break, overall, this is up 3%. And you want to avoid the moving freight train by giving it to the high. Like, as it moves down, I'm going to move my stock to the downside as well. One name that we have not talked about, I think, enough, as giving you a plan there for AMD, is Robinhood. And here's what would concern me about Robinhood, because I was just going through some names. Hey, at this time of day, I like trend reversals. What's been uptrending for a lot of the day? Good. There's the open. It happens to coincide with the open, but this first dip at 10 o'clock, distinct trend starting to form to the upside on Robinhood. So I'd watch out for this if it loses the trend line as well, and maybe SoFi if you happen to be watching it. BM&R has not really changed much of anything for me. It's still holding under VWAP. It's still refusing to break the half dollar. I'm still waiting for the other dollar underneath. So quarters. I mean, I got to reload, so only a fool would not take something out in this range because I did reload it. But I still think you get down to 29. I'm not convinced as long as IBIT's not breaking out and it's at the low of the day. Bitcoin didn't break 88. We're actually underneath 87,000. So nothing's really changed. I'm just looking for the bottom end of the range here and being patient about it. So yeah, it's 10:46. We do have some time before we figure out what is for lunch. But the market, inside day.
Yeah, not
day
much
before
happening.
a holiday, I can't say I'm too surprised. Never really felt like you'd get that 2% in either direction today.
Yeah, there isn't much happening. We reloaded Tesla there. As we said, we had gotten more out on the upside. We were out of 60%. We added another 10%. So we'll just reload what we had on again. So it's the same position one more time. We are actually at 117.40s and it went to 117.50 right there. So if it does come in, we will get that fill. We're actually at 417.35s. If that comes in, then great on that one. And then Alibaba, I don't know, it just cranked right back in. We're in the money now, amazing 10 cents, but the spread on this is 10 cents. So as it goes back up, we're long here at 19s. Need to take this out. Then, we're not even getting 29s right there. I'm at 35s for a little bit to get something out here. That's the 21 period. We needed to break. Like, that's not even that much size there, and it didn't even want to take that out. That's only 2,500 shares there on the New York book. So yeah, the market's going to have to bounce. We are tail wagging right there at VWAP on the market. So yeah, it looks like it wants to go a little bit lower, which kind of sucks for the longs, naturally speaking. But we may get more into Tesla. And look, we took some money out on the way back up. So it's going to suck when all these fill lower right now because the longs do not appear to be right. And it's funny because it was up here and I was like, you know what, I'm thinking about going short. Maybe we should get out of our Apple and yada, yada, yada. Well, meanwhile, Apple's just done this. We were able to get some pieces out when we were talking about that, but Apple has turned around again, starting to head a little bit lower. Remember, my stop for this was always near the lows here of 276. So I actually put the stop breaking 276 on Apple. So that's what we're looking for here as a downside play for this name, 276.50. So if that does break, we're going to get out of Apple if it does break lower on that one. Tesla trying to bounce a little bit. So we'll see if Tesla can go, and then it's Alibaba that's not bouncing. This one looks like it does want to go lower. You're just minutes away. Like, the spread on this is what's the killer, because if you break some of these levels, then you're going to get swiped out. So I'm willing to do that on Alibaba. We don't want to take a lot of shares there. We'd much rather take some shares in Tesla, and then again, obviously in Apple. So here we go. Let's get a piece out at 79 if we're able to do that, and there it goes. And now we're waiting on Tesla at 419.75. So maybe we get another dollar upside on TSLA trying to go now as the market looks like it bounces off VWAP. So thankfully that's what happened. And we take a piece out there at the 50 period moving average. So far so good on this reload, but still needs to go.
Yeah, and apparently that AMBR that you were mentioning earlier.
It
is AMBR, right?
Yep.
What did I type? All right, well, I must have typed it wrong the first time. But AMBR is starting to pick up a little bit more steam. This is actually just reversed, but it was holding VWAP the entirety of the morning. VWAP is a fantastic indicator. We love it. It's great, but it's underneath VWAP now. But volume's still pretty solid, 75 million on the day, and it didn't actually break through support here at 230. So there's a chance this can regain VWAP and retest some of those highs. Rejection at 3, keep that in mind. Did reject that $3 the first time. AMD is having some trouble through the 211. Well, I mean, not having trouble if you're looking at the longs. So at this point, because it broke down, it briefly broke the 211 and was hunting for VWAP, put the trail back in. So now it's effectively a break-even stop. It's actually just right around 212 even, where the stop is going to be just above these prior wicks so I don't get wicked out. But I'm still looking for the VWAP trade there. And then BMNR, same thing. Similar thing, not the same thing, because BMNR is trend down, this is trend up. So I can't really call it the same thing, but it caught a bid once again at that low. So unable to get that break of the low of the day yet, but do take some out and look for that volume weighted average price for potential reload. And keeping a close eye on IBIT and a close eye on ETH as well to make sure they're not screaming in my face that BMNR I should get out. Let's go see how the US dollar is doing, and maybe other currencies with Money Talks. There.
US dollar not doing too well today, Neil. It's actually red on the day. We know that we had some weakness yesterday as well, though right now, clearly trying to find some support around yesterday's low, that 99.6 area. Now, that 103 area is still serving as resistance for that US dollar. First started seeing this resistance show up again on November 5th, so much earlier this month, and then late last week, early this week, this resistance pops up again. So let's see if we're able to clear this hurdle. Let's talk about the economic data we got this morning, because we actually got quite a lot. Initial jobless claims coming in a little bit lower than expected, 216,000 versus 225 expected. Core durable goods higher than we were anticipating here, 0.6% versus 0.2% expected. At 9:45 a.m., we got Chicago PMI. This number was well below estimates, guys. I was seeing estimates anywhere from 43.6 to 44. Actual print comes in 36.3. Let's talk about the CME FedWatch tool, because this one just keeps going up in terms of how many participants, or market participants, not Fed participants, are expecting a cut. Right now, 83% are expecting this 25 basis point cuts. Looks like 83% chance, 17% chance here of rates being held. And this is a massive change from last week, when only 30% chance here was priced in of that cut. So let's see if we do get this cut. Compared to last week, this odds look a lot brighter. Back to you.
Yeah, brighter
Kalshi's up at
brighter odds.
Oh, they're actually dead on. This is the first time I've actually looked at the Fed rate tool is the same thing as Kalshi at 85%. But I did slip out of AMD. At some point, you know, it didn't look like it was going into VWAP. There is your wick reversal. And when it broke that prior bar, I was like, okay, well, why am I giving it to break even when it broke the prior bar? So I just manually punched myself out. Instead of giving it an extra 25 cents, I just punched it out. And that's at the end of the day. Ultimately, yeah, it'll end up a win. Need to get to VWAP, would have gone green, but I'll take it. Give back 1/4 of yesterday only. If it follows through, fair enough, as I said. I'm going to hold on to BMNR, but I think there's going to be better opportunities, potentially with a longer scale trend break, or at least if, you know, the other side of the coin is if this is going to continue to happen. Like I look over at Nvidia as opposed to AMD, and Nvidia can't get through the volume weighted average price. So this holding trend and breaking VWAP, or maybe even it breaking trend, can be a more clean trade potentially. And I also looked over at Intel just to see. Someone's like, well, you didn't trade Intel today. Well, because there's nothing clear on this thing. And it has a very similar look. Like I can just sit here and wait for that trend to break and then try to snipe in. Instead of trying to fight something. Wait for it, and then potentially hit it at the end of the day. You know, don't want to, we'll still end up the week green so far. So don't want to take a trade that's a B+ setup when it's 11 o'clock on a holiday shortened week, everybody.
Okay, yeah, we'll end the week green, so that's good. Alibaba, though, nice move higher right here, 158.70. So finally, we could spin some nice money trades here on Alibaba. As there it goes, now 70 cents in the money, 70 cents in the money on Apple. As we just sat here and, you know, watched this thing explode to the upsides. Let me take another out here at 75, which we just take. And then now we're just, I mean, we were going to wait for VWAP. The funny thing is we didn't reload down there, which was kind of silly. We should have. We talked about we were waiting lower. It just didn't come in. So there it goes. Wow, this is a big trade alert, honestly, on Alibaba. So hopefully that will just continue to climb right now. I actually don't have any offers. I should put something out right now. Maybe we should just join this 80 level again. As we said, there has been some, you know, funny activity happening around there. We'll join 78. There we go. We just put an offer right there at 78. We'll see if we can get filled. Hopefully it does hit us a little bit there at 78. Okay, reloaded. Someone in the chat said, am I reloading? Oh, there goes Alibaba, by the way. We get it. Alibaba now 159, trying to go higher. Wow, we've made a hell of a lot of money back here just in the last 20 minutes on this move, so this is what we're here for. There goes Tesla. In the chat, you have the longest name in the chat of all time. I don't even know what it was. T something something asked me, am I reloading Tesla? And I was like, yeah, so good call on that one. Trying to watch out what I was doing, but there it is. Reloading Tesla right there. We got to get it out, so we're waiting at 70 here. It's not enjoying the upside move that the market is right now, so there we go. We get a 70, so a little excited there. And wow, there goes, I mean, honestly, Alibaba, we got to get something out. Like this is, we just got another piece out, but it just goes up and down like so quickly there, Alibaba. Look, the chat is going absolutely insane, so let's do it right now then. What's for lunch? All right, today is going to be it should be turkey, but obviously these guys aren't acknowledging that. They even have lunch written down here for tomorrow, so hopefully they don't bring too much. All right, today's is a good one, man. And today, I know it hasn't been too many around here, but we do have a chicken dinner happening today, and of course it's lunch. And it is our favorite form of chicken around here. No, it's not wings. Today, it is jerk chicken. So we say, bang on that. Hopefully it's a little spicy. We'll see if it gets going there. Jerk chicken with grilled seasoned veg, rice and peas, and of course, what is jerk chicken without coleslaw? So we say, holla at that one. We're cooking it up right there, barbecue it up. It's a good one. That is what's for lunch today. Jerk chicken, grilled seasoned veg, rice and peas, and everything that you may like.
The only thing that would make it better,
coleslaw.
It's got to be on the side of a street made out of a barrel.
Yeah, that would be really good. That would be really good.
That's next level.
That's for sure.
If you're ever in, Joe knows, if you're ever in Jamaica, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate.
Yeah, don't hesitate. Just make sure it's not pink. All right, there it is. Thank you so much. Glass half full, man. Great trading today. I appreciate that. So thank you so much for that acknowledgement, man. It means a lot to us here as well. So, but yeah, we're still fighting it. As we said, we'll both just sit here, be a little red on the day, but you know, good trading. This could all change like very, very quickly. Wow. Okay, like this is what, you know, we're starting to get some excitement here on Apple as that's starting to get up to the upside. I wasn't even acknowledging this right here. We're too excited about that jerk chicken. But there it goes right now. Apple, 278.10. We'll see if we can get a little piece out there on Apple. And there it goes. Yes, sir. Huge move now. $1 on there. This is the thing. Like, I still think Tesla has a chance to moon here. Like, the market's not even going. The market's going, and Tesla's not. So here we go. Yes. All right, man. We have 3 positions all in the vaunted club right there. So now there goes Tesla, cooking out of the upside. All right. Yes, Neil. There it goes. Tesla, baby. We're getting excited now, Brendan. There it goes. Nice move up to the upside for Tesla. 419.50. Bang. Right there. Apple as well. Boom. With only 2 minutes to go. Wow. It took a minute, but finally the market gets going, and we're not even up that much yet. So let's wait to see. Is Target? I don't want to look at Target. Stop telling me Target's going up. Maybe. Because that's a play that I'm in.
I haven't looked.
And I'm excited for some Target.
Hold on, I'll look. It's fine. I'll look. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's up 3.8% as I check it out. I'm looking at Nvidia right now. So there's 3.8%, $90 on Target. I haven't looked at the daily chart. This is just the 3-minute here for sure. So the next trade for me, it's either going to be, like I said, it could be Beyond Meat, but Nvidia is trying to hold above VWAP. There's your trend line. I'll play it either direction. Really don't care. Just want to make sure we get a good setup. Don't want to have to hold this one. I want to have to hold this one against me where I don't know exactly where my out is going to be. So it's trying to break VWAP. And if the market's going to get through the high of the day, I feel like Nvidia is going to have to be a big part of it. We only have about a minute to go, but look at what Nvidia did yesterday. There's your trend down. There's when it held above the volume weighted average price and then broke away. Very similar story right here. So you can try to catch lows or wait for that chance when you think the market has, well, at least this stock has turned. The market's turned, but this stock hasn't really turned just yet. So it's been a good week so far.
Randy has joined us. Randy? Randy, the #1 name.
What's up, Randy?
On the show so far, Tesla today. There you go, man. Buying some dips there in TSLA. You are the car guy. And we were talking yesterday, you mentioned to me, you're like, Ford, look at Ford. Yeah, Ford, having a great year. 35% up for Ford this year. Yeah, I know. It's, you know, but it's a nice bounce though off the 50 period moving
What is that supposed to mean?
Right there for Ford. So this is what Ford looks like this year. It's outpacing Rivian easily. It is just ripping right now for you. You cannot compare Rivian to Ford, not this year, that's for sure. Or not its life, because if you are in Rivian from its start, you're still long at 108, but hopefully no one's long there. But nicely back up to 16. There goes Rivian, that's nice. We'll take that. Same kind of a bounce, Randy. Nice, yeah, nice bounce off the 50 period MA there for Ford. Or for Rivian, sorry, both of them bouncing off. Yeah, you know what? There's room for both of these, right? You can own both. I mean, GM had a little bit of a pullback
There's room for
recently, but there it goes. GM up again, another 0.5%. Wow, actually, I'm wrong. GM, Randy. What up with that? Right there. Ouch, why are we pumping GM's tires all year?
But GM's always better.
GM's, yeah, a little bit better. Yeah, 50 to 75. So they're up about 45% this year as opposed to Ford's 35. But yeah, there we go. Now $1.25 right there, the face slapper on Tesla. Look, our show was decent.
You're going to have a banger of a show coming up in just a couple seconds, man, because you have my guy Obi over here ready to go. You have Joe ready to go. I'm going to the gym. Neil will be here. Get ready for his always informative Neil's lesson of the day at noon.
Jerk chicken fuel, too.
So get ready
Nvidia just broke VWAP
for that. And the longs are printing, baby. So another successful day. Hopefully you guys have a good one as well. That's Neil. I'm Sean. That's Adara. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you guys at 2 p.m. Ciao till then. Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah.